The only thing we have to
Beer.
is
Beer.
itself.
Beer. So many choices.
Oh, we no function beer well without.
Woohoo! Beer!
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Beer Busters, where we're going to bring you the news and reviews of some wonderful brews. My name is Dan Baker, joined by my co-host and brewologist,
Steph Hefner.
and of course the demented and fermented
Wayne Baker.
We had a nice little early morning drive. Early morning compared to how we normally record. It's really 12 right now.
Yeah, it's
but we
noon.
normally do nights. It's noon, but it's early for us. I mean, I guess that's early in the beer industry overall, right?
For Beer Busters podcast, this might as well be 4 a.m.
That's absolutely true. But we had a nice little drive along the way. Some tunes we're playing, which kind of fits into where we are here. Is this technically, are we in Phoenixville?
Yes.
This is Phoenixville, downtown Phoenixville, but we're at Root Down Brewing. I'm very excited to be here. We have at the table joining us,
Mike Hamara.
Mike, thank you so much for having us out here and joining the show,
Thanks
man.
for coming.
I like the
Of course.
hand motion there.
Yeah.
Our listeners can't see that, but
It's only for us.
it's special for us.
That's the only reason
Every
we started
time
the
you want me to
podcast.
talk, I need you
Just-
to point.
All right, yeah.
The hand
Need a
motion.
cue.
I really am a monkey. I follow cues. That's
Nice.
it.
What if I have a symbol? Do you dance with a
works.
symbol?
I
Okay.
can do it.
All right, we'll do
Whatever
that
you
then.
want.
But we are here. We have lots of cool stuff that's going along, and a lot of cool stuff that's in store for today. We have flights that are already at the table, and I can't wait to get into that. Should we have one as a sipping beer? Should we do that?
Yes, let's drink right away.
I could use a beer,
We're
All right.
starting out light and easy for this very first one.
just
so,
like me.
Yeah.
Are we going left to right?
Yes.
So we're
left to
starting
right.
with Grit.
Yep.
Grit.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about Grit?
Grit is an American lager that we did. It was something we try to pride ourselves on making some great lagers. I think we're hitting the mark on the lagers, but what I wanted to do was to we had a lot of people come in, and even though the craft beer revolution has taken off and everybody's on board, we still get people coming in saying, "Hey, what do you have that's close to Coors or Miller?" And we would offer our Pilsner. Now our Pilsner is hoppier and all that. So we wanted to make a craft beer light American lager.
right.
And honestly, I love the beer. I really enjoyed it. It's become at 4.5% alcohol. It's just become my sipping beer when I'm sitting at the bar.
I mean, you hit it on the head. It's a craft light lager. It's a light lager, but with actual flavor going on and actual
we
characteristics
still-
that are nice. Yeah.
So we used flaked maize, about 20%, just to lighten up the body.
Yeah.
Traditional German hops.
Yeah.
But we had fun making it and a lot of fun drinking it.
It's
So-
definitely super crushable,
Yeah.
as the kids say.
Do people still come in asking for something close to Miller and Coors and
They
Bud?
really do, yeah.
I actually think that's good that
It
they're
is.
asking that question.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's rewarding to give them a beer like this and watch them be happy
Right.
about it. To see them order another one.
Cool.
It feels good.
This
So-
beer is the reason why I keep coming back here.
Yeah.
Because every time I come in, you always have a few lagers on, and and I've said it on the show before, but a lager is always a sign.
Sorry, I'm being attacked.
It's always a sign of the quality of the brewer,
Yeah.
and you can't hide behind a lager.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you can add hops and adjuncts, and not that it's easy to brew anything, but
Correct.
it definitely shows the level
It
of
shows
skill.
the worth of the brewer, and I think our head brewer Steve Bischoff is just an amazing brewer. He's a psychopath in the brew house. He is meticulous, but that's exactly what you want in a craft brewer.
Definitely.
You want a guy that pays attention to every detail.
He's like the goaltender of the hockey team.
Yeah.
Of course.
Just give him his own hotel room.
Yeah. I think this one's a good way to start the day. And, of course, we have to remind everyone out there in the podcastiverse how you can find us in the other corner of the internet, beerbusterspodcast.com, at beerbusters on the Twitter and the Instagram. And don't forget that wonderful, wonderful phone number that I forgot to queue up a voicemail for.
We'll get used to this eventually.
Yeah, it's only been in existence for almost 2 years. That's fine.
We've only been doing this podcast for almost 6 years.
Well, yeah, but the phone number hasn't been around the whole time.
We only recently developed phone technology.
Yeah, right. Let's...
By the way, James tried to get me to drunkenly leave a message on our
Oh, he did the same thing to me.
'Cause-
This is what came out of that. Let's see if it works.
Hi, Lisa.
That's all that came out of mine.
Wow.
Well, we went to I can't talk
Fedge
about
Fedge
it.
of July.
Of July.
Yeah. And very proudly, I did not get super, super drunk. I was very, 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 very proud of my self-control. But he kept following me around with the phone, and at one point, I think he just gave up because he's like, here, talk to my friend. And I'm like, you're calling our phone number, aren't you?
You're calling the podcast.
So let's have people call the number besides James.
That's 805-991-BEER if you want to get in touch. 805-991-2337.
Exactly. I was trying to look for another voicemail, but most of them are James. Oh, well, there was also this one.
Holy shit, what is happening?
Oh, that's me.
Yep.
I don't know what's going on. Things are getting out of control. This is the end. My only friend. The end.
Do you remember calling?
Was that when we were at the Chinese place, or was that earlier in the night?
That might have been at...
Or was that at the hotel bar?
The hotel bar.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
that was at the hotel. We had a day in Philly with James, and he treated us to a lot of fine alcoholic beverages throughout the city.
Yes, he did.
And yeah, that happened. I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was a fun time.
You can also visit us on Patreon.
Patreon.
Go to patreon.com/beerbusters. Sign up to become a patron of the podcast. Help us keep producing the show at the quality you've come to expect and more. You get cool behind-the-scenes perks, the coolest of which, of course, is Last Call, the bonus podcast segment that only patrons get to listen to on patreon.com/beerbusters.
One of the other things that you can only see if you're here was how Wayne looked directly at me with the quality that you have come to expect, just peering into my soul. Well, on that note, this is one of those rare times where this episode will come out shortly after recording it, and I made a point to actually find some topical things. Here's one in the ever-growing world of beer mergers and acquisitions. According to a market representative with Constellation Brands, the company has acquired Dallas, Texas-based Four Corners Brewing Company. The brewery purchase will add Four Corners to a growing portfolio of craft breweries acquired by Constellation, including Ballast Point and Funky Buddha. The brewery was founded in 2012. When asked for a statement, Constellation forwarded a press release with the statement to Beer Street Journals, where I got this article. We like to say that Four Corners Brewing is our collective beer journey, and partnering with Constellation continues that journey by opening amazing possibilities of where our brand and company can go. We're proud Texas brewers, and we've always had the intent of sharing our brews and our story with as many people as possible. We know Constellation Brands is the right partner to help us do that, Four Corners co-founder George Esquivel said. In 2017, Four Corners production was 25,000 barrels, and so far the financial value of the transaction has not been disclosed. So that is another one that is joining Constellation. Now, is Constellation one of the ones that we like or don't like?
Are we supposed to like them or not?
I like Ballast Point, so.
I mean, it's a conglomerate. It's a very microscopic version of what InBev is. It's the same thing,
Right,
It's
But
just
I
a
feel
company
like
that owns a lot
breweries
of
that
breweries.
size need to join forces in order to survive, because it's a lot of the mid-sized breweries that are.
And I feel like much like the middle class in this country is disappearing, mid-sized breweries in this country are disappearing. Like seriously,
Wow,
though,
we're
like-
going there.
But seriously, like as breweries are getting bigger, more and more of these big national breweries are starting to come together under umbrella
Yeah.
corporations, and smaller breweries are becoming smaller and more local. So there isn't much of a middle anymore, or there's less of a middle.
On our way back from our road trip this summer, only 5,024 miles this year, guys.
Only?
I know. It was much shorter.
I'm disappointed.
But next year's is going to be almost 7,000.
Holy shit.
Yeah. But we stopped in Charlotte, and we went to Brewers at 4001 Yancey. Is that what it's called? It's the combination property with Southern Tier and Victory.
Oh, yeah.
Gorgeous, gorgeous space. I put a bunch of pictures up on our Instagram page if anyone is interested. Unfortunately, it was super late till we got there, like 10 minutes before they closed. So I had a homegrown lager, which is that beer.
Such a great,
That is a great
fucking
beer.
amazing.
Yeah.
But they have a gorgeous brew system there, and it's really cool. It's behind the bar, so you can see it, but they also have like a walkway between the hot and cold side that you can walk through and kind of do a little self-guided tour. Everything on tap is, of course, Southern Tier and Victory. There was nothing on tap that had been brewed there yet, because I believe they were only open about a week when we were there. But super cool space. So it's neat to see where that is going. And when we were in Roanoke, we stopped at the Ballast Point location there. Super cool spot. So I don't know.
Yeah, I saw your post of all the Victory ones, and I didn't realize that was the Victory Southern Tier place.
Yeah, super
Makes
cool
sense.
spot.
Yeah.
Great beer. I mean, I love Victory beers. I've been drinking Victory beer since I started drinking craft beer, and when I came home from both times I came home from Germany and I wanted nothing to do with American craft beer, that's where I went because I knew I could get good German-made beers because I was going through German beer withdrawal.
A good brewery to wean you off of genuine German beer back into American beer.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, continuing on with the news, so we all know and potentially love or don't love the Goose Island Bourbon County brand, but they are adding a new flavor. Now, first of all, anyone out there should probably, if you're not familiar with the term pastry stout, you should familiarize yourself with that term, this article says.
Don't.
Hey, I like pastry stouts. Beer industry is full of them these days. The article goes on, take a simple imperial stout and throw in ingredients you'd find in a scone, a brownie, a cookie, or cake. Pastry stouts now have vanilla beans, cinnamon, cacao nibs, coconut.
Is this some new kind of chocolate? The cocoa nut?
It's a special coconut that Disney had from the movie Coco. Lactose and even breakfast cereal or movie theater candy, not to mention aged various spirit barrels. Now, Chicago's Goose Island is home to one of its most well-known barrel-aged imperial stouts, which is, of course, Bourbon County. And over the years, coffee, vanilla, and berry additions have surfaced. Goose Island hasn't turned a blind eye to the success of this style and is potentially, rumor has it, bringing their own pastries to the table. So we may get Goose Island Bourbon County brand Neapolitan Stout.
Like ice cream? Like Neapolitan ice
Like
cream?
chocolate, strawberry, vanilla.
Interesting.
Yeah. I actually had a Neapolitan Stout from, I forget who it was.
Southern Tier?
No. I got it from Bottle Shop. It was random, but it was good. It was really good. There was a nice layer of every flavor that I wanted. There's no official announcement on it for the 2018 variants, but this isn't the only article I've seen referencing that, so I don't know how strong these rumors really are. I think it would be cool to see that, but I also don't know how wide the distribution on it would be because they don't really distribute all of them wide. You have to go to Chicago to get some of the real ones.
It is the kind of beer that I think they deliberately make a little scarce because people seek it out, and it kind of makes it a little more valuable. I don't know. Pastry stouts in general, I like trying beers like that. Like I would definitely be interested in trying that. I've had ones that are really good, but they are the kind of beer that you can drink like a 5-ounce pour of it, and it's like, all right, I've had enough.
That's the thing.
That's like a whole candy bar right there. Now I want a beer that tastes like beer.
Yeah, I could see that argument for it. How do you feel about pastry stouts, Mike?
I am shocked. This is the first time I'm hearing that they're called pastry stouts. I'm actually a little disgusted by that. Do we have to give everything its own specific name?
Everything has to have a category.
I mean, it's just a stout with stuff added to it. It's been happening for years, but now we're at this phase where we need to make that a category, and it's just. Look, we'll make some. We've done it. We've done it with Firkins. I like having fun. That's the beauty of brewing, doing that kind of stuff. It's just sickening, though, to hear it actually. Now it's a category. Southern Tier. We were just talking about Southern Tier. They've been doing that for years.
Oh, yeah, that's
creme
definitely
brulee,
a thing.
all that stuff.
They're like
Brulee is so
the
good.
original,
Yeah,
that was
especially
definitely
for
their
the
thing.
East Coast.
Yeah, but it never needed a title. It's just
Yeah.
a stout with this added. So
That's a good argument.
Well, I mean, it's not a BJCP category yet, so
Yeah.
I think
give
it
it,
will
give
be.
it
They'll
3
push
years.
for it.
Give it
Yeah.
3 years, and it'll have a very vague description,
absolutely. So
just like the hazy IPA.
I all good for them. I love them. Do it. Make the stouts. Add different stuff. I just that pastry stout name is going to bug me the rest of the day.
I'm sorry that I ruined it for you.
Yeah.
Continuing on in the news, one last thing. If you are going to a Phillies game in the near future, you may be able to text your order for water or beer to get delivered
You
to
can
your
do
seat.
that at the Reading Phillies Stadium
Really?
already. You've been able to do that for 2 years now.
Wow, I haven't been to
It's
Reading
pretty
Phillies game in
sad that
forever.
Philly is behind the ball and Reading is
Oh.
ahead of the curve.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Well,
you
to be
order it
fair-
on your phone and then they bring it right to your seat.
to be fair, though, at the Reading Stadium, they have a lot less volume to worry about, so it's probably
Yeah, but
easier to
actually,
implement.
they have a lot of craft beer there.
Yeah.
It's surprising.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is, so it's only going to be a couple of sections of the ballpark. It's not the entire thing yet. They're doing a pilot starting today as of recording, July 20th. They're also going to do a couple of games in August, the 2nd through the 5th, where if you're sitting in sections 142, 143, 144, or 145, you can text to Aramark, the company that runs their concessions. Now, it's only going to work, this is interesting, if you have an iPhone, because Apple has a business chat system that businesses can do this on. So,
and I assume you pay right through the phone then as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, here we go. To order, a fan would first open the iPhone camera app and scan the QR code on the back of the seat in front of you, and that will launch prompts on the
that's
iMessage
cool.
text screen to place the order, which is then completed with Apple Pay, Wayne.
That's cool.
The drink will be delivered...
Apple Pay, Wayne.
We had a conversation about Apple Pay earlier.
We did.
The drink will be delivered supposedly shortly after. And Airmark says it's the first sports concessionaire to try it, which now I realize is not true because you can apparently do it.
Well,
in
it's
Reading.
the app in Reading. You enter your seat number or whatever, or where you're sitting,
And I imagine...
Well, I think this is...
and then the menu pops up.
reading it through, I think this might actually be just for like this business chat system that's popping up.
Yeah.
Instead of
You
just
don't
like
need
texting.
to have an iPhone to order it.
I find that kind of interesting.
So, I mean, I'm not a huge sports fan. I don't go to a lot of sports games, but what would be really cool is to have a service like that at like a concert. Like if you went
Yeah.
to a concert at the
Yeah.
stadium there.
Yeah, but no, I don't want people walking around delivering shit while I'm trying to watch a show.
Well, it depends on where. Like if you
Like
have a
it-
seat, I've gotten. I don't think I've done that myself, but I've seen other people do it.
No, I don't want people walking in front of me. Blocking
I will
my
tell
view.
you, I saw Bright Eyes in Philly a few years ago at a venue I can't remember the name of, small place, but it was one of the first concerts I ever went to. There was we were in like standing room, but it was up on a balcony, and they actually had like waitresses would come to you during the show, and like you could start
well,
a
that's
tab.
fine if you're up there.
Yeah, but I mean, it was really cool because that was the only time I was ever at a concert where somebody would just bring us beer. Like we
Well,
didn't have
they
to
do
go
that
to the bar
at,
each time.
BB&T.
Yeah, BB&T has.
That's where I've seen
waitresses.
it. Yeah. Well, they
and I hate that. Well, they don't.
They
I don't-
do, yeah, 'cause I
they
was-
don't come through while the act is
I
on,
hate
though.
convenience.
Yeah, right. No, I
I
saw
don't think
somebody
they-
buy a beer during Incubus last year when I was there.
That was a year ago today, by
I
the
know.
way.
Yeah, I saw
it
the-
came up
the
in my
Facebook
Facebook
memories.
That was a great show. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I'm going to see them again too in
Where?
August.
What? How?
In Maryland somewhere,
Boo.
Silver Spring, Maryland. I think it's also called the Fillmore. It's
Probably.
also
There's
it's
a
the
bunch
same
of them.
name as another venue that we go to. It might also be
Yeah.
called the Fillmore.
I wonder about this text system. If there's going to be like an upcharge or a surcharge for doing it this way.
Yeah,
You
I don't
guys
know.
should do that here.
Yeah.
It would be awesome, right?
Text your order from
Your
the
bartenders
pinball
would
machine.
hate you.
Yeah,
They have that.
I'm
They're
at the
roaming
start-
bartenders.
yeah. They
come
just walk
around.
up to you
Yeah,
and be like, "What do you
that's
want?"
true.
You don't have to go to the bar.
This is one of the few places where you don't have to wait long. Even when it's packed in here, you don't have to try to fight to get to the bar.
Yeah, we
You're-
try
you're-
to load it up with the staff. so
Roaming staff is pretty amazing.
that- yeah,
Well,
we try.
speaking of it, when it's packed in here and the service, why don't we talk a little bit about where we're at?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This space is awesome.
Yeah,
This
it's
is
really
the first
cool.
time I've been here. It's huge. The decor is awesome. I love the graffiti. I like that,
Yeah.
like the urban sort of style to
Yeah.
it. I like the old school hip hop that was playing while we were setting up and everything. And
Still
then the cool, yeah. It's a little
It's
harder to
always
hear now with the
playing, yeah.
headphones, but the cool like game room in the back there. It's just like a really awesome
With
spot
a
for
Star
brew.
Trek pinball machine.
Yeah, this is a place where you want to come and hang out for a while.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
So let's talk about the building first. 13,000 square foot facility.
It's a big building.
Massive.
It's more than I needed to start out with,
But that's
I
probably
fell
good.
in love with this building, and no matter what, I was going to have it. So
Good.
I don't own the building; I lease it. But yeah, as soon as I walked in, I saw the big exposed beams, the hardwood floor. Right away, I was like, "This is where we're going to be."
Yeah,
So
the brick is so beautiful too.
it's an old building. We didn't do much when we fixed it up. I mean, it was about kind of show off the bare bones of the building, give it a new paint job, but show all the old architect that's in here. And I think these old bricks and everything, they tell a story, and
Yeah.
it definitely you can tell this building's been around. It's a part of Phoenixville history.
what was here before the brewery?
So directly before the brewery, Superior Beverage was here. Prior to that, it was the Hires Root Beer manufacturing plant.
I was going to ask, because right
Yep.
back there is some wall art of Hires Root Beer.
Yeah, that's an old original sign that we kept. Actually, the old owner of the building delivered that sign to me and
So cool.
gave it to me as a gift.
Aw.
And obviously, I wanted to put that up right away.
Yeah.
Prior to Hires Root Beer, it was a playhouse, a theater.
Whoa.
There was a stage in here.
Oh, cool.
It was the Savoy Theater.
Oh,
in
yeah.
1910. Yeah.
Wow.
So there's I'm pointing, but obviously everybody at this table can see. Nobody listening is going to be able to see what I'm talking about. There is a pillar, an original pillar, up near the bar that was a pillar, connected to where the stage was.
Oh,
so
that's
cool.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, the inside where the brew house is, that was where they made Hires Root Beer. It already had drainage system. It already had tiled floor, tiled walls. So literally, we just had to drop some equipment in there. And
Was
we were
that
ready
part
to
of
rock and
your
roll.
decision for this building, that it was already kind of set up as a mini sort of brew house? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
it definitely made the financial burden early on of starting a brewery. It eased some of the pains of. I mean, that's expensive stuff when
Oh,
you got to
right.
put in a drainage system and all that. To already have it was very beneficial.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome to find a building that has that sort of infrastructure already in it, but then also has this beautiful space for the tap room. That's huge. What I really like about this space is that it is an enormous space, really high ceilings, but it doesn't feel cold. Like you know, some
Right,
breweries that
right.
have that like industrial warehouse feel.
Right.
It feels a little cold, and there's a lot of concrete, and it's just not comfortable. This is very warm.
Yeah, I think
and
the
inviting.
hardwood floor helps with that.
Yeah.
Beautiful original hardwood floor. Kind of the color pattern
Yeah.
we picked in here.
Yeah, yeah.
Helps with that a little bit. But, it's we love it here.
I love how you can see the complete brewing process as well. When you walk in directly to the left, there's these nice huge windows that show the brew house. So it's super cool that you can peek in there and see what they're doing. And then behind the massive bar that you guys have,
Right.
is that chain link fence?
That
That's
so
badass.
That grate or fence, as you're calling it, they were the grates that covered the front of these windows. It
Oh.
looked like a jailhouse.
Oh, okay.
So we obviously took those grates off, but one of the important things to me with this building is reusing everything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
where we built the entrance, where we built the bathrooms, that's all built with original wood that was in here that we tore down
wow.
because there used
Cool.
to be a second floor here.
Oh, yeah, you can see.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah.
We tore that down, and all that wood was reused. The bar is actually made from large diamond plate metal that was covering this hardwood floor. We lifted up that diamond plate, and we had all this metal, so I had a welder come in, and we built that bar with the old diamond plate.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so everything is reused in here. Those windows, we added one of the windows that looks into the brew house. Those windows were on the outside of this building where the bathrooms are. We took those out and reused them by putting them in there. So, I always said people would look at it two ways. Either one, oh, it's really cool that Root Down reused all that stuff, or two, they'll go, Root Down's really cheap.
Oh, no.
And you know
no.
what? And it worked out. It was cheap to reuse the stuff, but it was really, I think, smart the way we did reuse
Oh, yeah,
it.
definitely.
A friend of mine in middle school had a phrase, cheap but effective.
Yes.
Totally
Yeah,
works.
yeah.
I'm going to steal that. I'm
All right,
gonna
it
use that
doesn't-
from
yours,
now
yeah.
on.
It
I stole it
doesn't
from
look
him.
cheap. It looks
No, not at all.
purposeful,
Yeah.
and it's awesome. It's such a cool space. Now, did the stairs go anywhere?
I was just going to ask that
is,
same question.
That's a private office up there.
yeah, so there is something
Yeah.
up there.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there's still a second floor
In
There-
like half
it's
the
just
building.
a small section. It's just
right
above
above
where
there.
the brew house is.
Oh,
Yeah, because
okay.
above the
that's
cold
all-
side, that's
yeah.
quite high too.
That's all flat top roof that I'm going to be putting a jacuzzi up there soon.
Nice.
That's going to be the employee lounge.
Wait
The
for-
lounge.
That's what I've been.
Are you fucking with me?
No, I'm being serious.
That's awesome.
My wife is saying no way I'm doing it, but I really want to create an employee lounge with a hot tub up on the roof.
I have a question then. Are you hiring?
That's a pretty nice benefit. Well,
Yeah.
talk about reusing the stuff, and you said about it, like people saying it's like cheap, but I think if you reuse pieces of the building, then everything's obviously going to fit.
Right.
Everything's going to
Yeah, that's a
match.
good
It's all
point.
going to have the same
Yep.
vibe.
Yeah,
I
all
think
this
that's
trim,
part of what.
all this
yeah.
trim work is old wood.
Yeah, yeah,
So it goes with it. Absolutely.
yeah, definitely. Really cool spot.
Yeah, and then as you were saying, you can see everything about the brewing process. That was very important for us coming into this place. I think that's what sets breweries apart from bars and
Yeah.
restaurants is the fact that we're making our own beer, and we want the guests to come in and see the process. There's no wall between us and the fermenter, and when we have a vigorous fermentation going, you get the sense. You smell the fermentation.
Yeah.
And it's great. People will ask, "What's that aroma?" And it's never. I mean, sometimes a lager puts off a kind of sulfury
Yeah.
aroma.
Yeah.
But it's never unpleasant.
Yeah.
And it really, I think, takes the guest and puts them in the experience of brewing.
Yeah.
And it makes that sip of their beer a little more special when they're
cool.
having it. So it was very important for us to show off the whole process.
I like that you chose to do that because in Jersey, we've gotten to record a couple breweries over there. Apparently, it is or was a law that you have to have some sort of tour.
Oh, it still is.
Yeah,
It
it's
is? Okay,
still,
still
it's
is.
still- yeah.
Yeah, so the fact that you chose to do it, I think is interesting because I don't think many breweries in Pennsylvania would even think of that.
Yeah.
But it's cool to have the educational things. Like you said, it makes that sip of the beer so much better.
Yep.
Yeah.
The other thing I like about the aroma, it can be cool to smell the spent grains. I went to Yards the other day. the new facilities. You're walking outside next to all of the giant equipment that's outside. You can smell the spent grain.
Yeah.
And it's so beautiful.
That's beautiful for about a day.
Yeah, I was going to
If
say.
the farmer does not pick that up right away,
Well,
it's not as
It's
pleasant.
rancid.
Doesn't last.
And we've had that on those the hot days we've had this summer.
It's like leaving
we've had it
oatmeal
sit out
sit
for
out.
2 days.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, so you were just there on a good day. So speaking of sips of beer, what is next?
The next beer that we have is De La Soul.
Dallas.
Obviously inspired by the band, but De La Soul spelled S-O-L as in sun. This is a Kolsch. This is obviously we do a lot of lagers. Lagers take a little bit longer in the fermenter, as you guys probably know. But we wanted to get a quicker turnaround light option, and that's so we came up with the Kolsch, and this is another one that we just.
Oh, this is so nice. I love that these are the beers we're drinking right now. Like, it's so refreshing.
Yeah,
to
I
have these
wanted
nice
to
light lagers.
started off with the light lagers. That's really
Yeah.
I can't say it enough. We really take pride in making good quality lagers.
All right. Well, you're talking about we're talking about the equipment. You're talking about fermentation times. From here, it looks like you have a lot of fermentation capacity. How big is your brewing system, and how much?
It's a
fermentation do you have?
17-barrel brew house.
Okay.
We have 5 15-barrel fermenters, which obviously with headspace we can go over that. We can put 17 barrels into those.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have one 30-barrel fermenter, one 30-barrel bright, and one 15-barrel bright. We are looking to bring some more 30 barrels in.
Nice.
So that's the next stage.
So with the expanding equipment, you guys recently signed on to distribute, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And that's starting this week as of recording?
As of right now, this past week we launched in Philly.
Oh, beautiful.
So I've been down in Philly all week. We've been having special events. And then I fought the 76 traffic to get back here early this morning to be with you guys.
Well, thank you for that.
Yeah, no, it all week I told myself I was going to take it easy on Thursday night because I had to record this, and 2 in the morning I quickly reminded myself, oh yeah, I was supposed to be taking it easy.
Yeah.
Oh well.
So these beers are well deserved, and I definitely need them.
Yeah, I can imagine. Where in Philly can people get your beer? Not that I expect you to know all of them.
Right.
off the
So
top
as
your
of
head,
right now, this past week we did events at last night was Standard Tap.
Nice.
And Cooperage. Tonight is City Tap. We were at Varga Bar. We were at Bourbon and Branch.
Yeah.
And I feel horrible. McGillen's. How could I forget
Oh,
McGillen's?
yeah.
Yeah, great spot. That was my first time there. Just an amazing place.
Yeah.
All the places we've been to, Bourbon and Branch, just really cool people. Definitely a cool vibe down in
Which
Philly.
City Tap?
I don't know which one it is.
I think
That's
there's
horrible.
I think there's 2. There's one at
If you
UPenn.
say the names,
Well, there's one at UPenn, and then there's, what is that, Logan Square?
yeah, I think it's Logan
Okay.
Square.
Which is more like Center City-ish, and you
I should know this for as long as I've lived in
that
Philly.
sounds
Yeah,
about right.
yeah, cool.
Yeah, I'm just learning the city this week.
I've been there for 13 years, and I still don't know what neighborhood I live in.
Yeah,
This is true. That's often a point of
I
contention.
don't think Philadelphia knows what neighborhood.
Nobody knows
That's
what neighborhood
true.
we live in.
That's why I just say South Philly.
It doesn't have a name.
Yeah.
I just know when you cross a bridge, you're not in Philly anymore. I think.
Right.
More or
So
less.
that's
Yeah.
how I.
That's a good way to look
That's
at
how
it.
I know.
So in the vein of distribution, is it just like kegs and on
Right now,
draft
we're
there?
just doing kegs.
Do you think you'll do packaging at any point?
We just purchased a small canning line.
Oh, cool.
So we will be in the future. I foresee some packaging
Cool.
and sending some cans out, but right now we're just keeping the cans in house.
Yeah, I was going to say, I noticed you have a cooler of cans
Yeah.
over there. How long have you guys been selling those?
We've had that cooler. I guess it's been about 4 months now.
Cool.
Yeah. So we were using a mobile canning company, Ironheart Canning, great company. However, volume-wise, we had to can quite a bit.
Right.
We just recently went in on a canner with East Branch Brewing Company in Downingtown.
Nice.
So we're kind of splitting it like a divorce situation
Yeah.
with a child.
That's a
I
good
get
idea,
it for
though.
2 weeks, and then they get it for 2 weeks.
yeah.
And
Oh, that's super smart.
That is a really good
and
idea.
we're
though,
just
yeah.
splitting the payments, and we're canning a little bit at a time. It's nice.
Here's a
So-
stupid question. How big is a canning line? Like, I don't know how big a canning line normally is.
Well, we have a 3-head can filler. How big it is a matter of how much we want to work and how hard we want to work. So it doesn't take up much space. It's about the size of this table.
Oh.
So it's about I don't know, 5 feet.
Oh, I think in
wide.
my head I always thought that they were a lot bigger.
Oh, they absolutely are. They can be bigger.
Right.
Well, because the canning lines you've probably seen are like
Yeah, you're
Gigantic.
You're
and
thinking of the
Victory
conveyor and all that.
yeah.
We don't have
Right.
the conveyor. Our hands are the conveyor.
Yeah,
We're-
yeah.
It's literally
But even the one
hands-on
we
canning.
saw at Spellbound when they started canning. That one
Oh,
was,
yeah, that was
wasn't
cool.
huge,
Yeah.
but was sizable. Yeah.
I forgot about that one. Now, how long have you guys been open? When did Root Down open?
We just passed our 1 year mark.
Hey, happy anniversary.
Yeah, it's been a great run. I'm ready to call it quits though. After
I'm
this
done.
year, it's just been it's
Put
been
in a good year.
hell of a year. And then at our 1 year anniversary, everybody was like, "Wow, you made it a year!" And I was like, "Yeah, I have to do this again. I have to do this another
Another
year, and
year,
another
and
year,
another
it's-
year.
But it's fun. We're having a great time.
Good, good.
And always evolving, which is good. You know, it's great to have a next phase like this distribution into the city. That's kind of I wanted to be in Philly for a very long time. Since we opened, that was one of my goals. I want to be down at these Philly bars. But I was self-distributing, and I self-distributed once to Philly, and I took it to Han Dynasty for a Wu-Tang beer dinner. We took 3 kegs down, and it was a nightmare.
Yeah.
Just self-distributing. So I knew there was no way I could do this on my own. So signed on with a great wholesaler out of Philly, Penn Beer, very professional group, and so now they're going to make it a little easier on me and take the beer down.
Good.
So
Well, and I think getting into the Philly
they can
market,
get the parking tickets.
for your going into your second year, breaking into Philly, I think that can only bring good things. I
Yeah.
mean, that's a market that once you're in there, like that, I think really gets your name
Yep.
in front of a lot bigger audience.
Exactly.
in beer.
Yeah, I think it's a good growth phase for us.
For those
definitely.
of us that don't want to drive the Schuylkill Expressway, your beers are also on tap at other bars.
Yeah,
in
we're
the area
spread
as
out in
well.
Chester County. I think we're spread out very well in Chester County at some great craft beer bars. That was something, even within Philly, our focus is to be at really good craft beer bars where the staff is educated, the beer lines are clean, and it's places that really care about craft beer. So we're at a few cool places in Chester County.
The Bottle Room in Downtown.
Bottle Room, that's a great
Sidebar
spot.
in Westchester.
Sidebars,
You were there.
yep.
TJ's in Paoli. I love it there.
They're great, yeah.
Frank's in Downtown. Righteous Tap in Westchester. Pronto Bistro in Thorndale. I've never been
Yeah,
there.
they used to be called Raffini's.
Ah.
Yeah, and it's a small Italian restaurant, amazing food, and just recently they started getting into the craft scene, as everybody is. But their owner, Ron, is a great guy. Knows craft beer, cares about it, so we're happy to be there.
And then Brickside Grill in Exton.
Brickside, yeah, a few other places too. I apologize, I can't remember off the top of my head.
Well,
but-
Steph only knows because she has them written down. So,
No, I knew them off the top of my head.
to be
Come
fair.
on. Our listeners can't see my clipboard. So can we drink the pills now, please?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's
get into
the
the
pills.
Pilsner.
This is this beer we have a lot of pride in. This is Steve Bischoff's concoction here. Super dry German pills with a lot of hop. This is actually the hoppiest beer we make, poundage wise of hops.
Don't tell an IPA drinker.
Yeah,
I know,
right. This beer, when we brew it, it can clog the drains with so much hop particle.
Really? Wow.
But they're low alpha acid hops,
Right.
So we need to use a lot of them. But yeah, a lot of late kettle additions, and it's poundage wise, it's bigger than our IPAs. Now, not including the dry hop. So if,
Right.
we don't dry hop this beer, but just in the hot side brewing process, most pounds of hops.
It is so incredibly clear.
It's so
We
good.
love clear beer here.
so
I know,
floral and
yeah.
it's delicious. This is what if this is on tap, this is what I get when I come here.
Oh, this is awesome.
Yeah, I definitely I enjoy this one as well. I think most of our staff, this is their go-to beer when
Yeah.
we're hanging out after work. I mean, in Pennsylvania, we are lucky with Pilsners. We have amazing Pilsners out there. Victory Prima Pils, in my eyes, is probably one of the top. Trogue Sunshine, out in Pittsburgh, Penn Kaiser Pils, phenomenal.
Oh.
So
The Kaiser pills, I forgot about that.
my whole upbringing in beer, Victory Prima Pils was my first moment of being like, wow, this is well-made craft beer.
That might
Back
have
in like
been
1999.
That might have been mine too.
Prima. It's flawless.
Yeah.
It's perfect. It's enough hops to kind of settle that hop craving you might have, but clean, crisp, light. So Prima, still to this day I drink Prima. I love it. Prima was an inspiration for making this Pils. I'm not comparing it to Prima.
It's allowed to be an
you come here.
inspiration.
It's its own Pilsner, but I just want to point out that the German Pilsners in Pennsylvania definitely inspired this beer here.
It's really nice. I really like it. What I love about a great Pilsner is that the hop character you get without the bitterness. Like you said, all those late additions, the low alpha acid hops.
Yeah.
You get the hop character, but it's not that dank,
Right.
resiny IPA. It's really bright and
It's the
refreshing.
original bitter.
Exactly, yeah.
So I've got a question. From where I'm sitting, looking at the bar, and you have, like, obviously the bar is beautiful, the art above it is. So you have 3 TVs that are hanging up.
Yeah,
And since we've gotten here, it's been nothing but Kung Fu.
that's right.
Is that all that plays on those?
Unless there is Philly sports
Okay.
on. So now we played World Cup, soccer.
Yeah, you have to.
But yeah, it's just we're not going to put on ESPN or nothing like that. It's either Philly sports, Philadelphia sports, I should say, or Kung Fu. Kung Fu, to me, I find it's the perfect visual for being at a bar because, one, it's visually appealing. The artistic movements of the fighting, the colors, but also it has subtitles. So we can have our hip-hop music playing.
Oh, true.
And you can follow along with the subtitles with what's going on.
Have you had anybody complain, though, that they don't want to read
Absolutely.
while they're drinking?
Yes,
All right.
all the time. It's always somebody comes in, they say, hey, there's golf on. And we go, yeah, okay.
Isn't there always golf on?
Golf's not exactly fun to watch, though.
Right. So, and we tell them, no, I'm sorry, it's just our thing. We play Kung Fu. And those same people that complain when they first get here, their eyes never leave the TV.
Yeah.
We've had groups of people come in, see the ass end of a movie, and then, because they're all on loop. We have I don't know, a number of Kung Fu movies that replay. For a while, we just had 3 that were replaying on loop. We had a group of guys come in. They saw the end of the movie. We told them that it replays in a few hours. They came back later to watch the beginning of the movie.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
it's just our thing. I've been into Kung Fu for years, and I just kind of wanted to have it on. A lot of people early on told me I was crazy, that it would not fly. It's just, and it just seems to work. It's just our thing.
You need your own thing. I've never seen Kung Fu at a brewery before, so that's your thing.
I thought it was original. Now,
What?
I'm
no.
quickly learning that there's nothing original in this world. It's all been taken.
Especially in beer.
Yes, exactly. Beer names, everything.
Yep.
You think you have something great, and there's 20 of them out there.
Uh-huh.
Actually, a brewery, I don't know where they're from, but they just launched in Philly within the year. They're called Melvin.
Oh,
Brewing.
Yeah.
So supposedly they have Kung Fu at their place.
Wow.
Yeah, I was told this a few months ago, and they've been around for 3 years. So obviously, the way it looks to some people, we took that from Melvin.
Well,
I've never.
I don't know.
I've never been
Regionally, I
there.
guess it's your thing.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure.
Well, speaking of your thing and your aesthetic, so the whole almost like throwback hip hop vibe to everything, is that something that you brought in as part of the theme here? Is that something you've been into?
Yeah, it's something I've been into. That was my whole life growing up. I'm from Coatesville area. A lot of hip hop out that way. That was my youth growing up.
Right.
During probably the most crucial time in one's life, 15, 16, 17, when you're really trying to figure everything out. That was the crucial music that I was listening to at the time.
Right.
So it's a part of me. And it was actually when I opened this place, I felt vulnerable because I was putting myself out there.
Right.
I was going, all right, this is me. And if somebody says, "Boo, I don't like that,"
Right.
it's like,
It's
oh
a
my god, it's a
personal
personal
attack.
attack.
Yeah.
And it was, so. I'm thankful that I haven't gotten too many, people that hate it.
Right.
Everybody seems to like it, and I feel good about that.
It's a really cool vibe. I like it. I think it works really well. What I want to know is the name Root Down at all related to Roof Down by the Beastie Boys?
He was singing that this morning.
I'm going to kick it root down.
Yeah, so obviously the Beastie Boys had that. That's where I first became aware of the name or the word root down.
Right.
But no, Beastie Boys took that from a local jazz musician from Norristown called Jimmy Smith.
I did not know that.
And he made a live album called Root Down and Get It. So
Wow.
I heard about Root Down from Beastie Boys, but looking into it, I discovered that whole track, minus the Beastie Boys lyrics,
Right.
that whole track is Jimmy Smith album.
Huh.
From Norristown. So, and what he did with that album, which I find amazing, is Jimmy Smith took a bunch of young musicians and he said, we're going to make a live album. I don't want you to play off books. We're just going to riff off each other. We're going to hit the record button and we're just going to fucking play.
Yeah.
And that's all they did. And I was like, that's kind of what we're doing here at Root Down.
Right.
We're literally hitting the record button. I don't have business training. I've never, this is my first brewery.
Right,
you know?
right.
I'm literally hitting the record button with all these people that work here, and we're just riffing.
Yeah.
And we're just doing our thing. So
cool.
really, the Jimmy Smith Root Down aspect is more than the Beastie Boys.
Wow,
Now,
that's
we're
cool.
playing up the Beastie Boys.
Yeah,
Trust
obviously.
me. We just did this thing down in Philly. We called it the License to Ale Tour 2017.
That's amazing.
You know,
Nice.
so...
Nice.
I mean, I'm waiting for a cease and desist from them at any time.
Yeah, right.
But no, we're definitely, people are more familiar with the Beastie Boys aspect of it.
Right, right.
So we're playing it up a little bit. I don't tell many people that, and I've heard a lot of rumors, which are great.
Right.
Because one of the rumors I heard, why it's called Root Down, they're like, I think the owner is related to Mike D from the Beastie Boys. I was like, that's the coolest rumor I've ever heard. I'll go with that.
Yeah, why not?
Just don't respond to it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
just
just
let
let
it
it keep
float out
going.
there. Yeah.
I got to see the Beastie Boys in like 04 at a Y100 show, and it was incredible.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
so
good.
jealous.
Yeah.
We got to see everyone now before they all die.
Yeah.
Everyone keeps
I
dying.
never got to see Petty, and that still bugs me, obviously, because now I never can.
Yeah.
We talked a lot about the hip-hop influence, but one of my favorite events that you guys do here regularly is the punk rock flea market.
Yeah.
I've been to maybe 3 or 4 of them, and it's just such an awesome, good
It's
time.
incredible. Yeah. Obviously we didn't. That's not our thing. We
Right.
didn't come up with that. It existed for years. The organizer, Tony Cadaver, just an amazing guy. He's insane, but he's an amazing guy. I got to know him really well. He obviously saw the space we had, and said, "Yo, this might really fit in." And yeah, it's really cool. I mean, I think with the vibe that we have and the crowd we bring in for the punk rock flea market, it definitely, it's a good marriage. We kind of, yeah, we have good times for the punk rock flea market.
For anyone who hasn't been here, it's always on a Sunday, right?
Yes, it's the last Sunday of every month.
The last Sunday of the month, and it's set up in the back of the space here, and there's the most unique vendors
Yes.
ever.
Yeah.
With things from shirts and clothing and used vinyl and toys, and there's always a DJ playing some awesome tunes, and you always have some very unique things. Like I think one time we were here, there was some taxidermy and
Yes.
just
I usually
really,
spend
really cool
about
stuff.
$25 or $30 on shit I don't need every time.
But you have to have it,
I
right?
see it, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I have to have it.
Some
You
super
see the
cool
collection
jewelry,
of
too.
toys we have over behind the bar. I bought a Garbage Pail Kid. I bought a Public Enemy action figure set. You know, it's just incredible stuff. So
I love
such
the
a good
Garbage
time.
Pail Kid. That's
yeah.
awesome.
So
what
if
I
you
love-
come, bring cash.
Yeah.
'Cause,
Yeah.
obviously they don't take credit cards down there, and I guarantee you will spend
will
money
find
if you come
something,
here.
for sure.
Yeah, something you're going to fall in love
And
with.
it's always packed,
Yeah.
but not to the point that you can't have a good time and
Right.
get around, and it's hard to describe. It's just it's
Well, we have
such
a big
cool
space,
spot.
so we can
It is
take
massive here, so that
getting
helps.
packed for sure. Yeah, we definitely have a big space to handle it.
Just
So
grab a beer. I mean, how many flea markets can you go to and carry a pint of something awesome with you as you're shopping?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
and just listen to underground punk music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, it's a good time. So that's
Yeah.
my favorite. What other types of events do you do here?
We try to be original with a lot of the events here. That's something people always go like, "Oh, you should do karaoke night or you should do Quizzo." And nothing against that stuff. I love going to those things. Well, not karaoke. I don't sing. But Quizzo, I think it's great. But we're never going to do something like that. So the kind of shit that we do is we have drone racing.
What?
Yeah. So it's these little tiny drones that have cameras on them, and we set up an obstacle course all throughout the brewery. And these guys
freaking
race,
awesome.
and we tie in the footage of the drone camera to our TVs. So the guests can watch
Oh, that's
as
so
this
cool.
drone races occur in first player mode or whatever,
Right,
so you
right,
can
right.
see it.
That's
so
pretty awesome.
yeah, that's something we do. We do some live music events. We have a band called The Sermon. They play every first Friday here. If you haven't heard The Sermon, they're incredible. They're just an instrumental group, but they take old classic songs and put a jazz vibe to them.
That's awesome.
And it's really special with The Sermon, going back to Jimmy Smith, us being called Root Down, named after a Jimmy Smith album. The Sermon is named after a Jimmy Smith album.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
So
It all
when
comes together.
yeah, so when we met each other, they were like, "We have to play here."
Yeah,
it was meant to be.
That's cool.
We have Mason Porter come out and play. So we do some live music. We're not a live music venue, but we occasionally bring that in. We're trying to come up with some new events to do. Punk rock's obviously our biggest one. The drone racing is a quarterly thing. We're trying to find something fun during the week. We're thinking about T-shirt Tuesday, and so you guys are looking at me all weird, like
what's
this makes
that?
no sense. So T-shirt Tuesday, we're thinking you just come out and we'll have a press, and it'll be random mixed up shirts, colored shirts, and then you pick the vinyl you want pressed onto the shirt. And there'd
cool.
be different logos and
Yeah.
stuff.
Right,
So
yeah.
you come out and you walk away with a
With a
Root Down
t-shirt.
shirt.
That's
T-shirt.
cool.
Yeah. So I don't know. We're trying to brainstorm and come up with some original stuff. We were going to do bingo, beer bingo. That one, there was too much planning involved with there was a lot going on at the time.
Well,
so
don't
maybe
you,
I'll revisit
Don't you need
that.
a permit or something to do
bingo?
to host
Oh, yeah,
bingo?
yeah, yeah,
I
you
think
do.
there's
ruined my dreams.
Yeah, I think there's like a whole thing.
yeah.
Anything
Yeah.
that's like gambling, like
Yeah.
raffles,
Yeah.
and
Right,
bingo,
right, right.
you
I
do
remember
need to have
we
special
talked to a
license.
brewery somewhere a while ago that talked about having to get like a permit just to do bingo.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you told
So
me
you
that.
might want to Google that.
Yeah.
So I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that Phoenixville, especially within the last handful of years, has sort of become this craft beer destination here in Southeast Philly. Iron Hill has been here what seems like forever.
Yeah, they're the
Southeast
OG.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
They are the OG of Phoenixville, but it just seems like so many breweries have popped up in the last few years, and there's even more in planning. So I
that's the
assume
reason
that's been
I'm
a
here.
positive thing for you.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the main reasons I chose to be in Phoenixville is because of the way this town is growing with the craft beer scene. And I say that to people, and they think I'm crazy because they go, "Why would you want to be around competition?"
Why would you not want to be?
Right. It's not competition. I hate that
Yeah.
word. I hate when people say that it's competition. We, as a group, as 5 breweries in town, we draw in more people because of it.
Yeah.
So it's not competition. It's cooperation amongst all of us. So, I've been inspired by places like Asheville, North Carolina. Me and my wife love going there. And that type of vibe is what I saw happening in Phoenixville. It's a small, eclectic town that focuses on mom and pop shops. There's no big corporations in here. So it's the perfect spot for breweries.
Yep.
And, yeah, I'm hoping 10, 15 more breweries come into town because it's just going to be good for all of
Just
us.
more people. And nobody goes to a town that has multiple breweries and just stops at one.
Right.
Oh, for
exactly.
sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, you do develop your favorites if you've,
You do, but
if
you
you're,
still.
especially if you're from the area.
But when you go to where your favorite brewery is and there's a new one that just opened down the
Yeah.
street, you're going
for
to check
sure.
it out.
Yeah.
No, you're
definitely gonna
absolutely
check
right.
it out, yeah.
You're absolutely right.
And on that note, we just recently did a collaboration with all the breweries in town. So we brewed it here. We brewed with Iron Hill, Crowded Castle, Stable 12, us, and then we brought in Bluebird Distilling, and we made a sour saison with juniper and orange peel, trying to mimic,
Like a
gin, like
Gin
a gin
is the
product.
word I couldn't
Right.
think
Yeah,
of.
yeah, yeah.
Gin.
That's
It's
3-letter
3
word.
letters.
Yeah. So, but the special thing about that collaboration was it shows the guests coming in and the people that we're working together.
Yeah.
We're not against each other. We want to see every brewery here be successful. So that's on tap. We'll have to drink some of that.
Yes,
Yeah,
later
definitely
on.
want to try that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we have one more
For
in
this
the
flight, we have
first
one more,
slate.
but we got some more flights coming. So this last one is called Summer Rye. Little cheesy, gimmicky name. But this beer was made because of a mistake on my part. I messed up on ordering grain, and we had to brew our Pilsner, and we did not have enough Pilsner malt to make it happen. So I
When
talked
have
to
you ever heard a brewer say we didn't have enough Pilsner? That's hilarious.
I
That's
did.
what the beer should have been called. We didn't have enough
That's
Pilsner.
like a restaurant. We're out of bread.
Yeah. So we had some rye malt back there, and I said something to Steve, the brewer. I said, "Hey, let's just throw in 3 bags of this rye malt to make up for the lack of pills, and let's see what we get." And it's really a beautiful beer that resulted from it. The rye adds a nice spice, adds to that spicy dry finish already from the hops. The rye dries it out a little more.
Yeah. I love a good any beer with rye. I always really tend to like, and I don't know that I've ever had a rye pilsner.
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, that's pretty.
When
unique.
we did it, we kind of looked at each other like, well, let's go. This is going to be a 17-barrel experiment. Let's see what happens.
When I first saw that it had rye, and I was afraid that the rye would overpower
Right.
the delicateness
Yeah.
of the Pilsner, but it doesn't at all. It's it's still a Pilsner. It just adds this extra layer of
little-
complexity.
yeah.
Like, what is that?
that
That's
nice sort of like pepperiness, like you
Yeah.
said. Yeah.
Congratulations, it worked.
Yeah. That's one thing about. So we don't have a pilot system here. We have a 17-barrel brew house. So when we go for it, we're going for
Yeah.
it. It's not a test batch.
Right.
This is it. It better be good.
Right.
So and thank God we haven't everything we did passed the test, and we're happy to put it on tap.
Do you ever think about getting a pilot system for test batches?
No, I really don't.
It takes the same amount of time. Why would
Yeah,
you just...
Right, exactly.
The
yeah.
effort's the same. I honestly, this might sound slightly cocky, but I think Steve is an amazing brewer, and I know he's going to put out something good every time.
Good.
So, we do still get to experiment a little. We'll bring some of the experimental beers out.
Nice.
But the way we experiment usually starts by infusing one keg or doing a
right.
firkin or barrel aging something
Right.
with
Yeah.
a fruit.
Saw those
That's
lovely
kinda,
barrels back there.
Right, yeah. So that's kind of where we do the experimenting.
Cool.
And we're pretty much a traditional brewery. If that makes sense. I don't know
Yeah.
if that's good or bad thing these days. I know people want flash in the pan, crazy
I
pastry
think-
stouts, but
Pastry stouts. Yeah. I think we're getting to a point where
You're still bitter.
true to style, like something like these awesome, crisp, clean lagers. Like
Right.
that's something I think is what I want as a craft beer drinker, and I'm assuming other people feel the same way.
Yeah.
You can go crazy, but sometimes you just want something that's just damn good and normal.
Right, and I think if you look at our beer portfolio, it's across the board.
Oh, yeah.
We're making the big unfiltered IPAs. We're making IPAs. We're doing a white ale. We have a triple. So we definitely pride ourselves on having a variety.
How many beers do you have on tap? It's quite a number.
Yeah, I think right now we have 14.
Wow.
There's
Oh, there's
always
a lot,
a lot. And you have a nice selection of wine. This is one brewery my mom likes to come to.
Oh, good.
She really loves your wine selection. So, and I
Yeah,
love
gotta
that
have the
because
wine.
usually she'll pay for my beers. It's so nice.
Yeah, sometimes it's fun. We have some gozas with fruit in it, and sometimes we can get a wine drinker to switch over to a fruited goza.
Yeah, my
Yeah,
mom,
yeah.
she's some sour ales, fruited gozas. Like I'm slowly introducing her.
Yeah.
I'll still get that, and I
Right,
mean
right.
I get it then, so it's not a big deal. But I don't have to worry about that now. So many, because of some of the changes in the Pennsylvania laws, so many breweries are now carrying
wine
local
and some
wine.
Pennsylvania spirits as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, but I've been saying it for years. Whenever somebody says I don't like beer, I just say you haven't
Challenge
found the right
accepted.
one.
Yep.
There's a beer out there. There are so many styles. There's so much out there that I guarantee. You could take a wine drinker, give them a Russian River Consecration,
Oh.
or something like that, and they can find a joy in drinking that. So to say you don't like beer, I guarantee you can find something that you enjoy.
We've had more beer magically appear in front of us, and it's phenomenal every time that happens.
I love when that
You
happens.
you snap your fingers, and instead of half the universe getting destroyed or blown away,
Is that what happens when you snap your finger?
well, when certain people
Oh yeah,
do it.
Thanos.
Yeah.
Look, I got that.
See, there you go.
Spoiler.
Thank you, Movie Pass.
I think people have had enough time to.
I'm lost. I don't even know what we're talking about.
Our next beer is Franc Blanc, a French-style white ale. I am very excited to
It's
try this.
pretty.
It is.
Yeah, this is just one of those simple, boring styles that nobody really gets excited about, but
Oh,
when you
but they
drink it,
should.
you go, damn, that's good. Yeah, a white ale. We love this beer. We made this beer for speaking of events that we do, we had a Notorious B.I.G. Tribute party.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, so we made this beer for it, Franc Blanc in French, meaning Frank White, a.k.a. Biggie Smalls.
Yep.
Yeah, so we made this beer, we loved it, and we said, yeah, you know what, let's keep it around. So this is the second time we've brewed it, and it's going to become a staple for us. I hate saying flagships these days because I don't.
Yeah, nobody wants to drink a flagship.
Yeah, nobody wants the flagships. They want the new hot thing.
Special release.
I won't call it a flagship, but it's probably going to be on every time you come.
You'll probably see it on
whatever
the board.
that used to be called.
Yeah, flagship. It's a limited release until you brew it again.
Yeah,
and then it's a limited release.
edition.
French style white ale because we use French Saison yeast. That's what makes this a little different. Instead of using traditional softer Belgian yeast, we have a French Saison yeast that we ferment at cooler temperatures, so it doesn't get as phenolic and estery.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But it definitely adds a different element than a traditional white ale.
Yeah, it really, I think it cleans it up at the end.
Yeah.
Like it starts
Yeah.
out, you get that Belgian sweetness in it. I almost felt like it was probably going to be higher in alcohol than it actually is. It's only 5.1.
Right.
Just because that Belgian sweetness always
And
to
you
me
get
is like...
you get a hint of banana then.
Yeah, but
Which I
then
like.
at the end you get that nice, clean, peppery finish
Yeah.
of the Saison, yeah.
Are there any additions to this, or is all of those nuances just from the yeast?
We do very little orange, a little bit of orange zest in there. Honestly, it's probably not even enough to really show up. I never get it. I never get the orange.
It's just for good measure.
Yeah, it's like one of those things.
So that one is not high in alcohol, but
No, this next one
is.
Oh, imagine that, a triple. That's
yeah.
not in alcohol.
Yeah, this one, it's actually the same yeast. We use the same yeast for this one.
Oh, interesting.
Cool. Drink them side by side.
But, yeah, we decided to kick it up a little higher
Oh,
octane
boy.
in this one.
Oh.
Wow.
And think about a triple. Unfortunately, there's some people out there that really enjoy it. I enjoy a triple. People don't get excited about triples.
Right.
You know, but...
Well, they get excited after they've had some.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. But, yeah, I'm really happy with how this turned out. I think it's a great representation of the style.
What is this ABV?
9.2.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
up there.
you don't got to finish that whole one if you don't want. We got another flight coming up after this. So
Things are getting real.
Yes, they are.
This triple is very bold. Like when you sip it, it's like, and it's not a bad thing. It's just like the flavor of it is very much like,
Yeah.
it's very punchy.
It's still, but it's not hot. It's not.
No,
it
it doesn't
doesn't
have an
taste like
alcohol burn.
9%.
Very fruity.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's a really fruity, very that Belgian sweetness again. But yeah,
It's I think it's more pronounced because we're drinking it side by side with the Blanc,
probably.
True, yeah.
and I think I'm more tuned in to the nuances of the yeast.
yeah.
Super good. Well, now that I have some beers in front of me,
One of them's a 9%.
One of them.
yeah, I should probably sip this one and not
yeah.
gulp it down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Why don't we do this?
Cheers, Internet. And welcome to Happy Fun Time Games, a podcast trivia segment that is recommended by 5 out of 4 reviewers with exceptionally poor math skills. Today, we are playing Look What You Made Me Brew.
What?
We are returning again to the world of bad beer reviews.
Damn
This
it! Now
is
that
where
stupid song is in my head.
This is where I'm going to give you an excerpt of a beer review, and you will have to fill in the blank from a choice of 2 options.
Where are these beer reviews from?
I'm about to tell you.
Okay.
In previous editions, we looked at the ratings from Beer Advocate's Wall of Shame list of their worst rated beers, but this time, a twist. Bum,
What
bum,
a twist.
bum. These are reviews of beers that are generally considered to be pretty damn good,
Oh, shit.
but you cannot please everybody. These were taken from a website, but most of them were aggregated from Beer Advocate.
So these are beers that are celebrated and most people like them,
These
but
are-
these are reviews done by people that didn't like them.
Exactly.
So like if I reviewed a hazy IPA.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Got
Exactly that. So we will begin in time-honored tradition to my left with Dan. Our first review is for Founders CBS Imperial Stout.
Oh, boy.
A very good beer. This reviewer said that this beer resembles a mixture of breakfast sausage and vanilla doused in maple syrup, or motor oil and French toast.
Just because I've had the beer, I'm going to go A because it's fucking phenomenal.
All right, Dan is saying sausage, vanilla, maple syrup. Mike, what do you think?
I like the motor oil. I think somebody would say that.
Somebody
Yeah.
would say motor oil.
I hope it's
Yep.
the motor oil.
Steph also saying
Yeah.
motor oil and French toast. Unfortunately, that is incorrect. It was breakfast
Damn it.
sausage, vanilla doused in maple syrup, which actually sounds pretty
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I'm
the
sure they'll
reviewer,
come up with a
I
name.
thought
That's
it
not
was
pastry stout. That would
Yeah.
be what would that be? A meat stout?
Meat stout.
Yeah.
Or
Got to
breakfast.
come up with a new
brec-
category
yeah,
for that.
you know,
breakfast stout, that's the thing, yeah. But he did not mean it well. He clarifies, I mean that in the worst way possible.
There
I'm
is no
sorry,
terrible way that can be interpreted.
but the taste is just gross.
No, I thought that was too accurate to be
yeah,
the right
no,
answer. But
he did not mean that as a compliment. Moving on to our next beer, and this is Heady Topper. This reviewer says,
hashtag dumping heady.
yep, there is an inherent smoothness to the beer, but it tastes of wet cigarettes or soggy cardboard.
Ooh. If it's soggy cardboard,
Yeah,
that could be
that wouldn't be good.
oxidized. I don't know, and I don't think they would do that. I'm gonna say I think the person thinks it's soggy cardboard.
All right, saying soggy cardboard.
Well, I'll
Steph.
say the other one, the cigarettes.
Wet cigarettes,
Yeah.
Dan.
I'll go cardboard.
Dan also saying cardboard. Incorrect. It is in fact,
In fact.
wet cigarettes. The reviewer also says the hops are barely existent.
What?
Yeah, I wish I
But
could.
this
say,
person eats wet cigarettes.
Yeah, this person
They obviously know what
Yeah.
wet cigarettes taste like,
Yeah.
so their opinion means nothing.
They also said it almost tastes like a homebrew that was not properly sanitized.
Wow.
Yeah, harsh.
That
Harsh.
person's just looking for attention.
Yeah. Everyone's a critic.
I think so. Hashtag Dumpin' Heady. Moving on to our next review of the game, and Steph's going to guess first on this one, and this is for Pliny the Elder.
I just had that.
This reviewer says, there is nothing wrong with it, but it sure as hell isn't a gift from the old gods or the second coming of Beer Jesus.
Wow. I'll say the first one because the second one sounds more like you.
All right, fair enough. Dan, what do you think?
I'll say B.
Dan saying B. And finally, Mike.
I say B.
Everybody saying B. Everybody
Wait,
is... No, Steph said A.
A.
I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. I thought I heard you wrong and I changed what you said. No, Steph was wrong. It is, in fact, B, the second coming of Beer Jesus.
That sounds like something you would say.
It does. That's just why I picked
really
it, because I
does.
thought it was pretty funny. So this one, not really saying the beer was bad, just that it's not... doesn't live up to the hype. He says, yo, beer world. Yo, you need to get your shit checked, because this beer is just all right.
Oh man.
Wow.
Yes,
Is that-
harsh.
is that
Sure didn't say I eat. This beer is just
No, he
I
actually,
eat.
he spelled out the word all right.
Wow.
Yes, very sad. Moving on, and Dan is going to guess first on this one, and this is actually one of my favorite beers. This is Bell's Two-Hearted Ale.
Ooh, classic.
This reviewer says, the extreme hop level made me feel like I was drinking a wet nap or air freshener.
Ew. I'll go wet nap. Moist towelette.
Dan is saying a moist towelette. Mike, what do you think?
I love that beer. I never got air freshener from it, but I'm going to guess that this person used air freshener as a way to describe the
Okay,
beer.
I've never gotten hops from Heady Topper, so who knows? Air freshener or
Just
wet
so I have
nap?
a chance to be in this, I'll also say B.
All right, Steph is saying B, air freshener. You are incorrect.
Damn it!
The answer was A, wet nap.
It's all or nothing.
Another review of this beer also says it tastes like what the label looks like.
Fish.
Yeah, I guess that's what they mean because there's
Wow.
fish on the label. I don't.
I had that beer at a concert a couple of weeks ago, and it made the concert
Yeah,
very good.
I don't understand. I really like that beer. All right, moving on to our fifth and final review of the game.
It's an odd number.
I know. I was going to do 6 because we go around
It's
twice.
also an odd number.
But I couldn't. It's also an odd number. I couldn't find a 6th one that was good. So why don't you guys rock paper scissors to see who goes first?
Between us?
Steph and Mike.
Are we going to do best out of 3?
Sorry to remind
You
myself.
remember what the 3
Wow.
options
I'm
were?
just giving you a heads up. I always put rock up, no matter what. It's just the easiest one to remember.
So I have to put paper?
Yeah.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh,
Oh, Steph wins with paper over rock.
It's just way too much thinking and pressure.
Yeah,
and
I-
I just always put rock up.
I won.
I
That
don't
was
know
the
why.
best round of rock,
It
paper,
really
scissors,
was.
shoot.
All right, so Steph's going to guess first on this
Wait,
one.
I won, so I shouldn't have to go first.
No, you won the opportunity to go
Oh,
first.
fuck.
See, it's kind of
I should've
like
put scissors.
it's kind of like paying for a ticket for the opportunity to pay to buy a beer. This is a review of Dogfish 90-minute IPA.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
This reviewer says, I was expecting a hop bomb. What I got was a beer that tasted worse than
Oh no.
my taint sweat
Oh.
or
Wait.
my first girlfriend.
Oh wow. Shit.
I hope it's B because I hope you didn't come up with it.
Steph is saying B. Dan, what do you think?
Oh my god. I think. Oh my god. These are both fucked up. Let's go taint sweat.
Dan is saying taint sweat. And Mike. This is just for
I'll
pride.
point out you chose B for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have
yeah.
actually, yeah. And you only have 1 point so far.
All right, so
I also only have 1 point.
This is true.
who's leading?
Dan
Right
has
now.
3.
Dan has 3.
So
And
And
Dan's
what did
got-
you pick, Dan? Taint
I
sweat?
picked
picked
taint
A.
sweat.
I'm
yeah.
going to just ride his coattails and say
Say
taint
A.
sweat.
All right. Well, you
Try to
guys
get a point.
You guys are wrong.
Jeez.
Steph scores the second point. It was in fact my first girlfriend.
Oh shit.
Thank you.
I don't even know
Yeah.
what he
I'm
meant.
so glad
by
you
that.
didn't say that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, the worst I could come up with was taint sweat.
Yeah.
So we're going to end on that one. I think it's a good place to stop. So we're going to add up the scoreboard here real quick. And like we said, Dan had 3 points previously, got this one wrong, but still wins the game with 3 out of 5
Hey.
points. Steph is in second place with 2 correct answers, and Mike, unfortunately, at the bottom with
And I'm okay with
only
that. 'Cause
1.
These, I don't get these reviews.
Yeah, they're weird. There's a lot of weird people on the internet that write
And I
weird
love
things
all
about
those
beer.
beers that.
Yeah. I was gonna do like we've done versions of this game before where it's like reviews of like Natty Ice and like
Right,
Bud Light,
yeah.
which was funny. But then I found these reviews of beers that are actually good that were
Yeah.
like bad reviews. I was like, this will be fun. So it was. It was happy and it was fun. But this is, of course, the part of the podcast where we shout out to our most generous patrons on Patreon, people who allow us to make this podcast keep happening. We would like to thank very dearly the following individuals. Number 1, James Lamberg. Eric Dixon.
I'm 3 for 3.
The one and only That's No Baloney. Happy anniversary to Joe Mansell and his wife, Angela.
Salty pretzels.
Brad Diodato.
You guys want a bonus beer?
Nate Fochtman.
Jalapeno.
Sloan Peterson.
Sweet baby Jesus.
Brian Mills.
I like hands.
Oak Brook Brewing Company. Wolfgang Von Colt.
Breaking news.
Jen McDonald.
I want to chew on an almond right now.
Marilyn Engelman. Josh Price.
Oops, I just sharded.
Ron McDonald.
So sticky.
And Victoria Miles.
Fucking A right.
If you want to find out how you can get on this esteemed list as well as many awesome other perks, you can go to patreon.com/beerbusters. Sign up to become a patron of the podcast.
As for right now, I think we have to pay that ever-growing tab.
Let's settle that bill.
Say, Yvonne, remember when I said I'd have to send away to NASA to calculate your bar tab?
Oh, yeah. We all had a good laugh, Mo.
The results came back today. You owe me $70 billion.
This episode is brought to you by Loot Crate, a monthly subscription box service for epic geek gear and gamer items and pop culture gear. For less than $20 a month, you get 6 to 8 items that include licensed gear, apparel, collectibles, and unique one-of-a-kind items, and so much more. You have until the 19th of every month at 9 p.m. Pacific to subscribe and receive this month's crate. And when the cutoff happens, it happens. It's over. You missed it. By supporting Loot Crate, you are also showing your support for Beer Busters. You can sign up at trylootcrate.com/beerbusters and enter the code BRIDGE10 to save 10% on any new subscription. That is trylootcrate.com/beerbusters and enter the code BRIDGE10 to save 10% on your new subscription.
Hey guys, today's episode is brought to you in part by our friends over at Secret Hopper, an innovative new mystery shopper service for breweries. It's an idea that was created out of the love of two things, beer and the experience of sharing it. Breweries are attempting to differentiate themselves in an increasingly crowded market, and Secret Hopper can help you improve your customer experience. You can see their brewery from the other side of the bar by visiting secrethopper.com/beerbusters. Sign up to get secret hopped when you can find areas to improve, new areas of opportunity, monitor changes in your customer habits, and learn to grow from it. That's secrethopper.com/beerbusters to get started today.
No.
Your beers.
Know your beers.
Hey, Steph, what do you got?
So in the past few months, several beer publications have reported on a new beer style that was introduced in California late
Pastry
last
stout.
year. Nope. Kim Sturdivant from Social Kitchen and Brewery in San Francisco made a brute beer, which he called a brute IPA. He was one of the first, if not the first, to brew the style. When talking in terms of champagne and other sparkling wines, Brut is the driest category in that ranking. Of course, there's also extra Brut, I believe. Sturtevant used an addition of amylase enzyme, typically used to lighten the body of heavier stouts and porters, with a malt bill of extremely light malts, along with some corn and rice to lighten the body even more. The enzyme is amylase glucosidase, an enzyme that breaks down complex starches into simpler sugars for the yeast to chew on, creating a drier beer. This resulting beer, the Brut IPA, is an effervescent, sparkling, bone-dry hop beverage with little sweetness and little to no bitterness, while still offering huge hop aromas. The new beer style is gaining speed, and it's now moved across the country and even around the world, and many breweries are giving it a whirl. Food and Wine magazine recently published an article on the style titled "Brut IPAs are the IPA variety beer drinkers need right now." Websites like Omega Yeast, Brewer's Friend, and Beer and Wine Journal already have articles and homebrew recipes published. Some people ask, should it really be called an IPA, given its comparatively low bitterness? Some say, I have no interest in a fizzy beer, but I say give it a try. I've enjoyed several Brut IPAs on my recent road trip, and a few of them were quite impressive, super refreshing, and went down way too fast. If any of our local listeners want to try a Brut IPA, Two Rivers Brewing, Levante Brewing, and Love City all recently released Brut IPAs.
Pretty awesome. I have not had one. I would like to try one. And if people start brewing these instead of, the other ones, I will be very happy.
The one we don't mention.
The ones we don't talk about anymore.
Yeah, super cool.
That's pretty awesome. Cool.
I think if you put those three letters to anything, it will say.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
IPA, whatever.
Yeah. Pastry stout
Fill in the
IPA.
first
Oh, you think
Stout IPA.
triple?
Pastry
No.
IPA,
This
yeah.
isn't a
Milkshake
triple.
IPA.
It's an IPA.
cinnamon bun IPA.
Yeah.
Oh. It's the cinnamon bun that's just been sitting out for like a week and a half.
It's going to
It's like
taste
putting
like
cheese on a
paint
brownie.
sweat.
Yeah.
Taint sweat.
Taint sweat that was on your first girlfriend.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the worst.
God.
That's terrible. Hey, there's another beer.
Holy cheeses.
So I love the name of this one.
What is it called?
Oh, okay.
Salty by nature.
Salty by nature.
So this is
I think you
Goza.
can kind of figure out that
Yeah.
we go with a hip hop theme with a few of our beers in the names. So Salty by Nature, that's our Goza. This is a style I'm really happy it
like
came
it.
back around.
Yeah.
Obviously, 3 years ago I think it started popping up. Yeah, we love this beer. It's refreshing. It's clean. It's crisp. We don't go crazy with it. That's a lot of noise in the back there.
Yeah, I don't know what that was all about.
I think they're playing Star Trek pinball.
It was a very
it
intense
back there?
game. I think it sounded like they might have been playing that the air hockey.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
really getting into it.
All right. Yeah, but Salty by Nature, this is, for us, it's a middle of the road Goza, if that makes sense. We don't rip the enamel off your teeth with sourness.
Mm-hmm.
We don't go crazy with salt. It's just enough to be there. And we're really happy with it.
It's really nice. Yeah.
It's just subtly jowly.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yep.
Just like a
Yeah.
pinch.
Just enough to be like, oh, it's a Goza.
I personally could go more sour,
Mhm.
but I feel it's right at that cusp. If we go more sour, we're going to lose 70% of the people that enjoy it.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I can see
so
that.
We're just trying to keep it light and refreshing.
It's very nice.
Yeah, and you can finish this quite quickly and order another one.
Yes. Yep. Yeah.
Just saying. Some of them you have to sip on for a while.
Yeah.
And they're like,
Yeah. Mm. It's really nice. I also got like a juicy quality to it, like a fruity juice thing going on.
So this beer, we use yogurt to sour it.
Oh, really?
We kettle sour with Greek God's non-fat yogurt.
Right.
We
Wow.
put it in there, and it goes a pH of usually 5.1 pH to start out. It drops to 3.6 within 12 hours.
oh,
Oh wow.
Yeah, it goes really quickly. So it's a fast turnaround souring for us.
Mm-hmm.
You do this same beer with fruit additions as well,
Correct.
right?
Yep. Yeah, we got that coming up next in
Oh,
the
is
flight.
that what this
Let's
is?
do it.
So that next one is Red, White, and Blue. It's our Fruit Series, FROOT. This is Red, White, and Blue, brewed with red raspberries, white wine grapes, and blueberries. We
Wow.
put this out for 4th of July, being all gimmicky and shit. With that awesome American flag can label. But yeah, it's just a good, easy drinking, fruited beer.
I really like this.
It's good.
This one's great, and we can, like we were talking earlier about getting some wine drinkers to switch over.
Ooh,
Yeah.
This would be good for that.
Yeah. it's really it's cool to see some people who say they don't like beer drink something like this and enjoy it.
So this is just the Goza base that we just had.
It's salty by nature, except during the fermentation process of this one, we throw the fruit in there.
The fruit adds, I mean, obviously a nice extra flavor to it, but it kind of, what I'm going to say is going to sound negative, but I don't mean it that way. It kind of overpowers, and I don't get as much as the Goza base as I would have thought, but I like that about it.
The fruit definitely, I mean, like we said earlier, the Goza itself is not super tart, not super jolly, not super sour, and the fruit really like blunts that edge even further, which I imagine makes it super popular.
Yeah, we have another one in the tanks right now with gooseberry.
Wow.
Which is
you could
not
serve
a fruit.
that at IKEA. Right? Isn't that the sweetest?
Those are lingonberries.
Yes.
Oh, damn it.
And I've been looking to get those lingonberries.
You have to call
they
it,
sell the lingonberry jam.
Right, but I'm trying to find the straight
actual
puree, because I'm trying to make like a Swedish fish flavored Goza.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, this has been like 3 years in the making. I've been trying to get this together.
I think you're getting, maybe it's psychological, but when you said Swedish fish, I started like having a little bit of that taste in this one.
Not as sweet.
Raspberry.
Like you're getting there. Yeah.
What I like about this is it's not overly sweet. Because a lot of times when you have fruited beers, you get the fruit flavors, and then you have this like overwhelming, sometimes
Rich likes it.
sickening
Rich
sweet.
likes it.
Of course,
Breaking news.
Rich likes
Rich likes it.
He's
a beer drinker. It's official.
He's been drinking. It's terrifying me. My DD is not allowed to drink beer. He had a few on our road trip. Most of them were this color, but
I like that old school hat.
The Whalers.
The hat.
Whalers.
Yeah.
Hartford the Whale.
Awesome. Very cool. Are you from up that way? Just
No, we're
like
from
Just a crazy
throwback
fan.
logos. Okay. Cool.
More or less, yeah. But yeah, what you were saying, like fruit wise, this is much more of a like a fresh fruit taste, not like not like a fruit juice from concentrate.
Do you use
taste.
like fruit puree?
Yeah, we use fruit puree. Yep.
That seems to be the go-to, and I like the result that comes from using that product.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it seems like it gives you. It allows the fruit to actually impart a lot of character, but also keep that fresh taste, and not like like I said, like a juice concentrate taste.
And the fruit is fermented out, unlike some of these breweries that are packaged in cans with unfermented fruit.
Right,
and
just
then
throw
they
fruit in
explode.
And telling the people, hey, it's up to you to keep it cold. It's up to
Yeah.
you to take care of this product.
Yeah.
We make sure that we do the heavy lifting, and when we give you a product, it's going to be solid.
If that's the case, then it should be a beer that's only served on
tap.
site.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, absolutely.
It should not be leaving the facility. But
yeah, there's nothing
that's
wrong
a
with
whole
doing something
nother
like that.
conversation.
Yeah, don't get me started.
So we're done now, right?
Pastry stouts, I got angry, and now
Yeah, I know, right?
thinking about these unfermented beers that people.
What about
put
a pastry stout that is unfermented in a can for you to?
Yeah, that's
like a double whammy.
I'd be done. I'd be out of the business. I can't take that.
What if you did that?
Oh,
though?
we did that?
Yeah.
We would never do
A
that.
dry hopped hazy pastry
You're
stout.
not the first brewery that has said we'll never do that.
Yeah, I
with
know.
mango puree. Never say never.
Never
kids.
Yeah,
say never.
I got bills to pay. I got
You're not the first
my
brewery
house
that said that
my
too.
house is on the line, so I will pretty much do what I need. I said I would never put lactose in an IPA, and ended up doing that.
Yeah.
So
I don't think that's as terrible a thing as people make it out to be.
no, yeah. Hey, actually, last night we had it on tap at one of the events we were at, and the guy could not stop raving about it, and I just had to bite my tongue and be like, glad you liked it.
It's awesome.
Now, look, I stand behind everything we put out, and it's a quality beer. It really is. It's called Electric Soup. But, I just sit there and, like, when someone's raving about that one, and I'm going, yeah, but our Pilsner's on tap.
Have you tried one with actual flavor?
Have you tried it? Yeah.
Well, while we're waiting for the next beers to come, we didn't talk about the food here.
Okay. Yeah.
Because and I guess
Just
it's-
recently got an award from Best of Mainline.
Oh, that's
for
awesome.
Hey,
Best
congrats.
new brew pub grub or something like that. I forget how they worded it.
Oh, that's
but
awesome.
Yeah, it's very cool. We brought in an awesome chef. When I started this place, the last thing on my mind was making food.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to be a restaurant owner. I wanted to be a brewery owner.
Yeah, and some brewery owners say, I don't even want a kitchen. I don't want to deal with that.
Well, I mean, you see the size of this building, so you know the rent check's pretty big every week. So I knew I needed a little extra income coming in. So having a restaurant attached, profiting a little off of food sales was kind of crucial. But it was a venture that I did not really want to get involved in. So the important thing was to bring on an awesome chef, and we got We got a guy named John Walsh, incredible chef, has been in the game for a long time, and he came in with a concept that we kind of talked about. We want it to be a smokehouse, because we're a hoodless kitchen. We can't use a deep fryer in there.
Oh, yeah.
So simply making French fries is not an option for us. So the cool thing about that is we have to be a little more creative with our menu.
Mm-hmm.
So all of our meat is smoked outside on the smoker, and all of our food is made. I don't by an oven that we use back there, a convection oven. Basically.
There's no like range, open flame, none of that.
None of that
flat
stuff.
top,
Yeah,
none of
so
that
we
stuff,
can't be burgers and fries.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
have
yeah.
to, we have to be a little
Interesting.
different. So
Tell me more about this smoker that you have.
The smoker.
What kind of meat do you smoke?
We do pork, chicken, brisket on occasion, prime rib. We've smoked everything.
Is today a brisket occasion?
I don't think brisket's on the menu today.
Okay.
No. Sorry
It's
about
okay.
that.
It's fine. You're lucky you have good beer.
Yeah, the other flights are short.
Hey.
And the person bringing our beer today is Britta. She's our
Hi,
Thanks, Britta.
she's our manager here. Amazing. She is basically the glue that holds Root Down together. Without her, this place would not be functioning.
Is he sucking up to you a little right now?
Only because you're within earshot.
She knows I love her.
Well, thank you very much.
I do want to ask, last year for the Phoenixville Veg Fest, you guys did an extended vegan menu.
Yeah.
Are you planning to do that again?
Yes, absolutely. So that was a funny time for us because I decide I'm one of those people, like, if we're going to do something, it needs to be done right.
Mm-hmm.
So I went vegan for a while. I asked my chef to do it with me, and he was like, "No, you're fucking insane. There's no way I'm doing it."
I do not trust a vegan chef. I don't care. Even if they can make awesome vegan food, you do not trust a vegan chef.
But it was important for me to, like, kind of really. I didn't want to phone it in. I wanted to come up with. Well, not that I was coming up with it, but I wanted the food that John came up with to be legit and legitimately taste good. So I tried to get into that lifestyle, knowing I would never totally convert to it, but I wanted to experience what it's like to be a vegan. And for Christ's sake, it's damn near impossible to be vegan.
It's a lot more possible now than it was.
Yeah, sure.
even,
There's
like,
a lot of great options.
10 years ago.
Yeah. But, I mean, the simplest thing, like honey.
Yeah.
You can't use honey, So, no, but for about 3 weeks, I went vegan, and I was eating that way, and that was all part of coming up with the vegan menu, and it did really well with us. A lot of people loved the vegan options, but so now on the menu, we narrowed it down to our top sellers. So we have a few vegan options on there, but for the vegan fest, we'll have another large option. For
I like that.
How long did you go vegan?
It was just under 3 weeks. Yeah, not long. I'm telling you. You see the size of me. This is not a vegan body.
I mean, you could almost just not eat at all for 3 weeks.
Yeah,
I mean,
Oh my
So
God,
what
that's
was, so
hilarious.
even if it was only 3 weeks or under 3 weeks, the first meat that you had, the first non-vegan
Wings.
dish that you had, wings. Okay, so how delicious were they?
Oh, incredible.
All right, good.
Like, so I just went through a recent cleansing. We're getting totally off track here.
That's
I apologize.
fine. That's
but
fine.
I just went off where I took everything that I do every day, which is drink beer, drink coffee, and I stopped.
No.
Just bear with me for a second.
How many headaches did you have?
Yeah, no, so the coffee was tough. Now, I still did caffeine. I did matcha green tea.
Yeah.
So I did that. But it was really just to, and I did it for a week, and it was just to get back into taking that first sip of beer again and falling in love with it again. And like,
It's actually kind of a good
how
idea.
rewarding that beer was. Because, look, I mean, I drink beer every day. Not getting drunk every day, but every day is pulling a beer off the fermenter, trying it as it, and I felt like I was getting dull to the whole experience and the beauty of drinking beer.
Mm-hmm.
So, I took like a week off, and Britta's not close by, but she knew how miserable I was. My wife did not want to be around me. I was, I was cranky, but it was important. And then, obviously, with this week launching in Philly, obviously drink it down there. But
I could-
just doing it again. And I had my first cup of coffee yesterday.
I could do beer.
A week and a half.
I could stop drinking beer for 6 months. I would be fine. I could not stop drinking coffee for 3 days.
That was
like,
tough.
I would
yeah.
I would die.
Yep.
Yeah, longest
Yeah.
I've gone without coffee in the past 7 years was a day.
Yeah. I will say though, I think you missed a trick with your vegan experiment. Your first meat should have totally been like a nice rare steak.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like totally.
I'm a sucker for wings, though.
Wings
That's
are
usually
good.
how I judge a restaurant. Whenever a new place opens
Yeah.
up, I go to have their wings. Because if that's...
Yeah.
to
Yeah, but
me,
but then you're judging sauce. You're not judging the cook. You're judging.
No,
that's
wings
not
are all
true.
about
yeah, I
wings.
usually I get wings naked with no sauce, and I
Yeah.
dip the sauce myself.
There's a place
So-
in Jersey, and I mentioned before, the Jug Handle Inn. If you ever get into Jersey, you need to go to this place because you have to get 10 wings grilled with a side of sauce for dipping. Best wings I've ever had in my life.
Nice.
They're fucking phenomenal.
You
That
just
sounds
said
great.
something positive about New Jersey.
that's why this is an outtake.
Don't tell Mark Graves.
This will never see the internet. Sorry, we got to cut that for time.
Yeah, right.
All right, let's get into
More
this
beer.
next flight of beers. So we're starting
Mas
with
Cervezas.
All right, so now we're
Fine.
going to get into our hoppier beers. Okay,
let's do it.
So this first one is a Brute IPA. No, I'm just kidding. It's not a Brute IPA.
Oh, I wish.
This first one is a beautiful filtered IPA, though.
Yeah.
It's
It is
this is Bine. This is our
pretty.
house IPA. We take a lot of pride in what we do with this beer. Great malt complexity, awesome hop varieties used in it, but it's clear. You can see through
it's
it.
clear and it doesn't taste like orange juice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Ooh.
look, I don't want
Ooh.
to say I don't like those unfiltered beers because we make a few, but yeah, just the beauty. I always thought there was like 3 elements to beer, right? And it's like one, the visual appeal.
And then you
Visual-
discovered yeast.
Yeah.
Ba-dum-bum.
But the visual appeal of a beer. So Bine, I love the color
It's
when you hold
beautiful.
it up and you let the light go through it, and then aromatically the smell and then the taste. So
Yeah.
I think this hits all 3 categories.
And I've had this beer before, and what I like about it is I think you've done a nice job of respecting what an American IPA started out to
Yeah.
be or used to be, I suppose. However, you're pleasing the modern IPA drinker as well. I feel like it's the perfect combination of those two things.
Yeah, I think aromatically, it's it's hoppy. The bitterness is not crazy high, 60 IBUs
Yeah.
for a 7.2% beer. So it's not crazy high. Yeah, so it hits the best of both worlds. We actually have a beer coming out
I won't say
next
it.
week, which we called 1999. Called They Want Their IPA Back. We brewed it once, and it was such like a risk for us because we said, okay, either people are going to love it or hate it. So the first time we brewed it, we put it out there, 1999 called They Want Their IPA Back, and it's a maltier IPA using the traditional C hops, and the reviews were pretty damn cool. And even like 22-year-olds who obviously weren't drinking in 1999, but they're drinking this beer that is reminiscent of the way those IPAs were back then, the Hop Devils, which is still an incredible IPA.
That was my first craft beer. Was
You
Hop
know?
Devil.
Harpoon IPA.
Yeah. But so we made that, and it was so popular, and people kept asking. So next week, it's actually it's coming back on. This next one, this is an unfiltered pale ale. This is called Hoppy Digital. Again, a subtle reference named after Bobby Digital, RZA from Wu-Tang's first solo album. Yeah, this is just a easy drinking, citrusy, unfiltered pale ale.
Fun fact, one of the members of the Wu-Tang Clan is a vegan.
They mostly, a lot of them are. They're
really?
Muslim, so they
I
don't
didn't know
they don't
more
do
than
any
that. Because
pork
one
or
of
nothing
them,
like that.
I don't remember which one.
Well, RZA's vegan.
One of them is
Ghostface
speaking.
Killah.
One of them is or
vegan.
just did speak at a vegan fest.
Wu-Tang is a big influence here. You haven't picked up on that with some of the-
That seems to be a trend with breweries in this area.
Wu-Tang?
I mean, Dock Street did the
Oh,
whole
they did the
Wu-Tang
Wu-Tang. You're
beer.
right. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's a good
So
show.
with two-
It should
two
just
of
be
you.
a trend with everyone.
Two of
Two
you.
breweries
Well, and like
makes
you
a
said,
trend.
Han Dynasty did the whole Wu-Tang
Yeah.
beer dinner. that
They're
epic
big
beer
fans
dinner.
of Wu-Tang. Yeah.
There you go. So there's 3 places.
Wu-Tang's incredible. That should be a part of everyone's life.
Ain't nothing to fuck with.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's for the children.
This is for an unfiltered pale ale. It's good. It's not. It's it's not like I said. What I hate the most about this hazy IPA trend is that it's like it's like peppery orange juice for grown-ups.
Yeah.
Is like what they all taste like, and it's just
Right.
not a pleasant thing.
So I think what you're going to find with our beers is I don't call them hazy. They're just unfiltered.
Yeah.
That's all we're
Right.
doing. That's
You
as
didn't,
far
like-
as I go.
you
It's
didn't
not
like
opaque.
throw flour in it or anything.
No. The integrity of the beer is still intact. So you got to remember, we brew 17 barrels. Now, prior to having distribution, that 17 barrels worth of beer lasts us on tap about 2 months.
Right.
3 months. So the integrity of the beer needs to stay intact.
Yeah.
A lot of these unfiltered IPAs, their shelf life is 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm guaranteeing you when what we put out is going to taste the same day one when you have it or 2 months from now. The integrity
Right.
of the beer is still there. So that's kind of what we're doing here. So I don't call anything a New England IPA, Northeast IPA.
Yeah.
That's not our thing. It's an unfiltered IPA.
Yeah.
I won't put New England in anything in our name.
I really don't understand the idea of creating a beer that is so delicate that, like, in 2 weeks it's terrible.
But that's the beauty of it too. So I think there's
I
a dark side to it and a cool side to it.
kinda
The cool
get,
side
like,
is, hey, you better get there and drink it.
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
cool. You know, if we had a 3-barrel system, we could probably do
Yeah.
that. We have a 17-barrel system. We can't do that. If we did purchase that pilot system, we can maybe
You could do
put a
something
beer
that you
that
know
has a
is
short
not going
shelf
to be
life,
shelf-stable. Yeah.
And look, I think there's a beauty to that. I don't knock people that do it. That's just not our thing.
Yeah.
And I think it's important that people got to go, yeah, that's their thing. They don't do that. Don't hate on us because of it.
Right.
But that's just
Yeah.
not what we do. There's plenty of them out there. Go drink them. Enjoy them. You know, there's some great, really hazy, unfiltered IPAs that have a 2-week shelf life. Get in there, drink it, and enjoy it.
Yeah.
I don't knock anyone for doing it.
To be
But
fair, as much as we've traditionally shit on that style, I
do
have
you guys always you
more
generally
or
don't like
less.
that?
I mean, there's
For the last 20 episodes, we've said it at least
Oh,
once.
really? Okay, I apologize. I didn't know.
no,
that.
it's cool.
it's
And
fine.
I've adopted the philosophy of if you like it, drink it. Life's too short
Yeah.
to not
No,
do that.
and there are versions of that style which I have tried and enjoyed.
Yeah, I have a
definitely.
couple cans of milkshake IPA in my fridge at home right now, and
Tired Hands milkshake.
No.
'Cause-
We all know how much I love Evil Genius.
Yeah.
But they released one. It's a blueberry graham cracker marshmallow milkshake
Wow.
IPA. It's actually really fucking good.
Is that a
Pastry
pastry
IPA?
Yeah,
Pastry
I was gonna
IPA.
say. We
It's-
Pastry IPA.
It's really good. And if you
Oh,
if you
I
do-
tried
Make it
that.
Stop.
Yeah, I gave you some of it the other night.
You did, and I tried it.
I enjoy it. I think it's good. It serves its purpose, but I'm not going to continuously drink it. Like if it's a good one, I'll drink it. If I have a sip of it and it's terrible, I won't. Like they had it on tap at the brewery when I was there, so I tried it and decided to buy the 4-pack of it.
But and our listeners know this, but I will very quickly, and I will not dwell on this, but I at least want Mike to know. Our stance is that, you know, it's great. I love that breweries make a shit ton of different beers and push the limits and experiment, and I want to try everything, and I want to experience all of that. My biggest thing is I don't want one particular style to dominate and to take away from other beers that are fucking amazing. And, you know, when I go to your brewery and I can't get that lager that I loved or that mild that you used to make or, you know, all those other beers that used to be there because there's 7,000 hazy IPAs on tap, that's what makes me angry.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily the beer style itself. It's
the way that it is
the way that it has
pushing out everything
influenced
else,
and
yeah.
pushed. But I am seeing, especially recently, more and more breweries are starting to put lagers back on and go back to some of the old styles, and now kind of move, like the Brute IPA, or move into something different. And
Right.
you know, I don't brew the hazy IPAs. You know, they're making money, they're keeping breweries in business, they're helping the industry. That makes me happy. Just make sure like there's other stuff.
There's
there
other
too.
stuff there, yeah. Well, and I think the problem is like the craft beer industry has, maybe not always, but in the past 10, 20 years when like it's really started to take off, it's been prone to trends. And we talked about this before, and how like there's always going to be the next big thing, the next new style, the next experiment that's going well. I think the problem is now each time that happens, it becomes more and more saturating.
Sure.
You know, like before it was just IPAs. Everybody wanted an IPA, so every brewery had one, maybe two IPAs that were really good, but they also had a million other styles. So then sours come along, and like there's a subset of beer hipsters that are all about sours, you know, but it wasn't every tap. But I think each trend takes over more and more of that tap space.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I know we pride ourselves on not being trend chasers.
Right.
Because my goal with having a brewery is to not be the next flash in the pan. Because a lot of times when you focus on make the trendy stuff, really you're just a flash in the pan sometimes. So if you want to totally dedicate yourself to hazy, unfiltered IPAs, that's great, and you might get some recognition, but in a month or maybe a year, you're going to be forgotten about. So you always got to be making new stuff. At the end of the day, and I think I said it earlier, and you made a comment about we got bills to pay. We have to be in a brewery. There's a responsibility to make beer for the patrons that come in here. It's not a selfish thing of going, I only make this because I like that.
Yeah.
You can do that, but that's a foolish way, I think, to go about things. So we put the unfiltered stuff on. We try to mix it up, and we just try to have something for everyone. And if that hazy thing comes and goes, I'll be honest, we probably won't
make it
have
anymore,
it
man.
on.
And
If for some
else.
reason out of nowhere, like a brown ale becomes
really cool.
trendy,
That would make me so happy.
I'd be
we'll
into
put
that.
a brown ale on.
No, it's
but-
going to be brewed IPA. That's the next thing.
I'm just learning about this brewed IPA.
Yeah.
We might
Hey,
have
they're
to
good.
do one
Yeah.
soon.
So next is Flux, not to be confused with Flux Capacitor.
Yeah, Flux is our ever-changing. That's why we call it Flux.
Nice.
It's always in a state of change. It's a ever-changing single-hopped IPA. It is unfiltered, but as you can still see light through it. So it's
that is really nice.
But
actually.
this
I
is
really
all
like that.
Citra. This
It's
one
all
is
Citra?
all Citra.
Yeah.
So we've done 4 so far: Mosaic, Azaka, and then we did an experimental hop, 06297.
I love when there's still numbers.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
just
don't have the
numbered.
name yet. Yeah,
That was like my favorite one, and then now we have the Citra.
the
one.
Citra.
So
I love a good single hop though.
yeah, I think it's really cool. I think it's a cool experience for the beer drinker. To be able to experience that, to hone in on what one hop is doing for that beer.
Yeah,
It's
I
the same
agree.
grain bill every time. It's the
Yeah.
same ABV.
Same yeast, too.
Same yeast, same brew process,
Everything
but it's
just
a different hop.
different
and
hop.
I think there's a beauty to that, and sometimes I like when we overlap.
I was
So-
just going to say, if there's an overlap, that's
right.
awesome to be
So
able to have them.
unfortunately,
Yeah.
with this one, we sold out of the experimental hop pretty quickly, and this wasn't ready yet.
Oh, right.
But it's cool to have both on, so people can do a
Yeah,
side by
yeah,
side.
yeah.
I think part of drinking is about educating yourself as well,
Yeah.
and always learning. And so this Citra's a great hop.
Everybody
We all
loves
know
Citra.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it turned out really well.
Have you ever been to White Labs, their tasting room out in California?
No, they have one down in Asheville now too, I believe.
Oh, yeah? I haven't been there. I've been to the one in California, but it's super cool to get a flight of the exact same beer, but with different yeasts.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. Even the colors are different.
Oh, sure.
And
absolutely.
it
The
blows
flocculation of the yeast is some will
absolutely.
say a little hazier.
Flocculation
naturally,
of
and-
seagulls.
It's so
That's
fun
a good
to
beer
just
name. Come on.
That was
man.
a
There you
recent
go. You can
episode
have that
title
one.
of our
was
podcast.
it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Was it about hazy,
We were-
non-flocculated?
Where
yeast
was
or
that
something?
one?
We were at
I don't
Brewery. It
remember.
was when we were at Brewery Ours.
Oh yeah.
Because Steph's Know Your Beer segment that time was all about yeast terms, like
Yeah.
terms
Yes.
about fermentation terms. And what
Oh,
they
okay.
mean. And one of it was
I think I'm
flocculation.
going there actually after this podcast. I'm going down there.
Oh,
Oh, yeah?
they're
Love it.
awesome.
Yeah, because
Sean was on
they're
the
they
show.
use the same wholesaler as us. So
Oh, cool.
our wholesaler wants while I'm in the city, I'm going
Yeah.
back down to
Yeah.
spend one more night in the city.
And we
wants me to
actually
stop by and check
that
them out.
reminds me. I'm sure we all saw that they were recently vandalized.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I just want to give them love and say, hey,
Yep.
like,
Of course.
like that sucks, guys. But they were very, very gracious about it.
They were.
And the,
Like,
and the
everything they
outreach
posted
from the
about
local
it.
community,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know,
it
the
was
beer
so
lovers
cool.
saying, "Hey, we'll come help clean it up." And,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
They're
Yeah, and the
awesome
funny
people.
thing is, just this morning when I was getting my car outside the hotel I was at in Philly, I looked over at a mailbox, and the anarchy sign that they did on Brewery ARS, it was weird the way it was
same-
made.
Yeah, it was a weird. Yeah.
The same graffitied A with
Wow.
a circle around it was on this
Yeah,
mailbox.
it's just
across-
some-
so it's somebody running
It's
around.
a douche or a couple of
Yeah.
douches that are just like
Right.
got to stick up their
Someone
ass.
that clearly doesn't know them.
A flock
Because
of
if they
douches.
would take the time to go in and meet the people that
Yeah.
own the place and work there, like they could not be more awesve people.
I've lived in that neighborhood for 7 years
And
now.
what neighborhood
So
is
it was
that?
you.
It was me. It was totally me.
The neighborhood without a name.
Yeah.
Dan's not that creative.
I'm a pretty terrible
Yeah,
person.
we are
Who
literally.
still uses the term yuppies, by the way?
That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Like, seriously?
like yuppies? That's like 1980s, right?
Yeah.
Like,
But Dan and I are literally blocks away from
Yeah.
the
Oh,
brewery
wow.
where we live.
And I
yeah.
used to live a block closer to the
Yeah.
brewery, and it's serving a very, very necessary part of the community. Like something. There were shitty bars all around, and now there's somebody who's making their own beer and distributing their own beer.
Yeah.
And I think it's really cool that that's there. And it just sucks that somebody would do that.
Yeah, just some drunk, stupid idiot that didn't know what the fuck they were talking about.
But it did get them press.
It did.
there you go.
I will
It did.
point that out. It
But
got them a
what I
lot of
just-
attention and a lot of love, and it's
Yes.
shitty that it happened to them, but I think
It brought out the fact that,
positivity
like,
will come from it.
the majority of people are like, no, that sucks. This place is great.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. That's
And
cool.
it probably reminded people, like, we need to get back
And
there.
I just want
we need to go get a beer
Like,
there.
I would emphasize, like, I thought their response was really
Yeah.
classy.
Oh, yeah.
They
And
were
it didn't,
very classy
and
about it.
I would expect that from them, knowing them.
Yeah.
So have fun there tonight. They're awesome.
Yeah, they're cool people.
Oh, so we have one more.
Ooh, did we? Is this the gin one? Did we get to the gin one?
No, but I
Can we
can
do
have
the
it-
gin?
yeah.
No, let's do that for last call.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
that's a good
That's
idea.
right. We'll do
We'll
the
do that
last
for
call.
last
All right.
call.
That's a great last call beer.
The last IPA that we have is Flying Guillotine. Nice. This is our top-selling IPA. Bine does really well for us. That's considered our house IPA. But Flying Guillotine, every time we make it, it's the fastest one to sell out.
Is the name a reference to anything?
Wu-Tang.
See,
There's a kung fu movie, Master of the Flying Guillotine,
okay.
and we play it here.
Nice.
So
Is that what's on right now?
no, we
Okay.
haven't had that one on in a while.
Okay.
But yeah, so Flying Guillotine. I don't know. First time we canned it, we put on the bottom chopping headies of the can.
That's our new
So-
hashtag instead of dumping heady.
Yeah,
Chopping
chopping
headies.
headies. It was. I don't know. It is what it is. This is just an unfiltered double dry hopped IPA with a plethora of hops.
Yeah.
about 5 different varieties. in
But it
there.
doesn't give you too much like hop bitterness with it, and
No,
really, it's
bitterness is
super drinkable.
Not wanted these days, and it drives me
Thank-
crazy.
well.
I don't know. I mean, like, so this is 30 IBUs.
There was
Now,
a
some
time-
people still drink this and go, "Oh, it's a little too
Do you remember
bitter."
when
That's
people
why we made
wanted
the lactose IPA.
90, 100
Yeah,
IBUs?
everybody's
We
shooting
did an
for-
I
episode
remember
that
that.
we
was never
drank
good
all 100
remember
or
that.
higher IBU beers, even
And
though
that-
I don't know how it's
and-
even possible to.
From the human taste bud is not going to taste
No.
over
Oh, no.
100
It's all
IBUs.
about the idea of it.
Right. It's the concept of once you make something salty like soup and you add more salt, there's a there's a
at some point it's
threshold
just
there.
There's a
Like,
it's just
threshold.
salty.
you can't
Yeah.
taste more
Yeah.
salty.
Didn't Dogfish Head do like a crazy like 800 some odd IPU beer
Wouldn't
at one
surprise
point?
me.
What's McKellar Brewdogs?
Somebody
maybe?
did.
Somebody did like
Brewdogs did some pretty crazy shit. It might
Yeah.
have been them. Yeah, I don't know.
They do the taxidermy beer.
Yeah, and like the high enough alcohol that you can measure it in proof in a
yeah.
beer. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They were the highest for a long time. I wonder
Yeah.
if they still are.
I don't think so.
Super tasty.
This is really nice. It's very soft.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, easy drinking.
Yeah.
Good hop aroma, good hop flavor, low bitterness. So
juicy fruit.
juicy fruit.
I
Yeah.
totally get juicy
Yeah.
fruit
Yeah.
from this.
It's
I don't think that's a bad thing.
jackfruit.
No,
I
not
was
at
just
all.
thinking of that. I think it was jackfruit, right?
Jackfruit. The juicy fruit flavor is a
Yeah.
specific fruit.
Oh, we
I think
had
it's
this
jackfruit.
conversation.
Yeah, I think it
we've
was
talked,
jackfruit.
We've talked about this before.
Jackfruit's
Yes.
not really
Never heard
sweet,
of
though.
jackfruit.
We've done 146
That's because
episodes.
you weren't vegan long enough.
Oh shit! Really?
Once you go vegan,
You get that at the 4-week mark.
You don't get to try jackfruit until you hit a month as a vegan.
Was he vegan long enough to have vegan superpowers?
No, not even close.
No.
What's vegan superpower? Is that when you walk in and tell everyone you're vegan immediately?
But
Yeah,
when you
pretty
walk
much.
into a room?
Yeah.
That's
that
vegan
pisses
superpower?
me off that people say if you're we know you're a vegan because you tell us all the time, but we have to like
You have to in a situation where food is being prepared for you. Yes, obviously.
A vegan, a CrossFitter, and a podcaster walk in a room and nobody can hear anybody because they won't shut the fuck up.
Yep. Yep.
So if people want to learn more about Root Down, you guys are rootdownbrewing.com
Correct. Yep.
and Root Down Brewing on Facebook.
Yeah.
But you're
and actually, if I didn't mean to cut you off. Did I just cut
Well,
you
I think you're no, I told you, a podcast you need to interrupt,
Oh,
so
okay.
good job.
All right.
But you're something different on Instagram, aren't you? Or are you also
I don't
Root
know.
Down
I don't
Brewing
do
on
the
Instagram?
Instagram.
But if
I
you
think it's
search
Root Down
Brewing, you'll
Yeah.
find
I
it.
feel like one of
Root
us
Down
could
Brewing.
probably look this up on our internet devices.
I was going to say we just added a really cool thing on our Facebook page. If you go to it, you can do a virtual tour Root Down.
Oh, I that's saw cool. that,
Right,
yes.
yeah.
It's
Cool.
incredible.
So you can look at the tour while you're listening to this episode,
There you
and
go.
then you can
And
imagine where Mike was pointing.
It takes you back to the brewery,
love it.
into the brew house, into the
It's a
cellar.
multimedia experience.
That's cool. Instagram is Root Down Brewing.
Root Down Brewing.
There you go.
Root Down
Okay.
Brewing.
Yep.
It's all Root Down Brewing. So do you guys have any releases or events coming up? I know you're very Philly heavy right now.
Yeah,
with
right now
the-
we're really focusing on Philly. That's been a long time dream to get down in Philly and get to some of those bars that, for years, every now and then before a Phillies game I'd go to and check out. So it's really rewarding to see your product on at those bars. So right now our focus is Philly. We're not forgetting about Chester County. We love it. But as far as big events coming up, no. First Friday of every month we do the Sermon plays
the
here.
live music.
Yeah.
Every last Friday we have the Punk Rock Flea Market, which we talked about
July
earlier.
29th is the next one,
Yep.
which is also the 3-year anniversary of the Punk Rock.
Yes.
Flea
Yeah,
Market.
yeah.
Nice. Cool.
Super
That's
cool.
going to be pretty sick.
So it'll
We're-
be even more awesome.
And every quarter you do the drone
The
races.
drone
That's
racing.
so
races,
cool.
yeah.
I
The
know.
drone
We
racing
need
is
to
great.
come for
So everybody thinks they're like, oh, what about if it hits someone? It literally weighs an ounce.
Yeah, it weighs an ounce and it's driving.
And if
it's
you
flying
get
4
hit,
miles an
here's
hour.
the good thing: if you get hit,
You get a
by
free
a drone,
beer?
you get a free beer.
Oh, nice.
Can I- does that
We
count
now
if I
have
jump
people
in front of one?
diving.
Yeah,
Yes,
right.
we have it. People diving in front of them to try to get hit to get a free beer. So if you
That's
get hit by
awesome.
a drone, you get a free beer. It's fine.
That's hilarious.
Other than that, no. Now that we have this new canner, like we talked about, we're our goal is as something goes into the bright tank, we can a little bit off. So we're always going to try to have
cool.
some. If it's on draft here, we're going to try to have it for
Oh,
takeout.
that's
as
awesome.
well.
Oh, cool.
So
Good idea, yeah.
we're able to do that with in-house sales only.
I'm
It's
assuming
gonna
you
be
also do like growler and fills.
Yeah, we do growler and crowlers.
I was going to ask about
Yeah,
growlers.
crowlers are the new thing. Honestly, when I go through all those glass growlers, I'm not reordering. It's
No,
going to be
I-
crowlers.
that
Yeah.
seems to
No
be
one
a
wants
thing.
a
Nobody
growler
gets them anymore.
we
anymore.
fill any growler you bring in,
Right.
and we can fill that. But I'm not reordering it. I'm not selling growlers. Crowlers are better for our product.
Yeah.
The longevity of crowlers are good. A growler, unless you have a counter pressure filler growler, a growler's 48 hours
Yeah.
and it's done.
Yeah.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
the crowlers, they last longer. So we're happy to fill those, and we got plenty of them. But no, other than that, no real no big events coming up anytime soon. Like I said, we're trying to explore with some options, T-shirt Tuesday or do bingo, but now you tell me about this
Yeah,
regulations.
the whole legal bullshit.
No, here's what you
ruining
do. Here's what you do. You call it dingo. It's
Okay.
not gambling,
Oh.
but we'll find a way to make it count. It's not
No,
bingo. It's
I feel
dingo.
like that's not
maybe
gonna work.
maybe a dingo ate your baby.
I feel like that's not gonna
It could be dingo eat the baby night, and you'll have baby back ribs.
Dingo
out of
eat the
smoker.
baby night. There
Shit.
you go.
Well, so what we were actually going
I
to
would
call
come
it
to that
was
Rib night would be awesome.
we
People
have
love ribs.
one of the guys that works here. He is a music producer, and he has all these awesome beats that he's got thousands of beats that he does. So we were actually going to have him playing all night, and we are going to call it Beers Beats Backroom Bingo. So,
Oh, cool.
Bears
Yeah.
beats Battlestar
Exactly.
Galactica.
I'm glad you got it. So, speaking of, we have a little beer planned. We're going to do a beet goza.
Yes.
And
Nice.
instead of fruit, we're going to call it shroot.
Of course.
SHROOT. So we got that planned for this fall.
That sounds amazing.
So-
I am totally on board with beets and beer. I've never had
Yeah.
a bad beet beer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty good.
That's an alliteration.
It is.
right.
Congratulations.
If you want to learn more about Beer Busters, beerbusterspodcast.com. We're Beer Busters on all the socials.
Yes, make sure to like, follow, comment, subscribe, all the fun stuff.
Please
Patreon.com/beerbusters.
leave a nice review on Apple.
Yep, rate review.
iTunes.
Any-
I don't know why I called it Apple.
Whichever podcast
Apple
app you
Podcast.
Or whatever
choose
app
to
you
use.
use.
Stitcher, Podcatcher,
the more that you rate us and comment,
Pods in my
the
pants.
big,
Pods in my-
the more people that will know about us. So
Exactly.
please do that.
Yeah.
I listened to a lot of podcasts on our trip. Movie podcasts, history podcasts, other beer podcasts. And I'm really proud of what we do. I think we produce a really, really awesome podcast, I have to say. Not that the other ones were bad, but I'm like, damn, we do a good job. So let other people know that we're doing a damn good job. And if you want to listen to Last Call, like this awesome one that Mike is waving, I think, to get our awesome beer.
get someone over.
We'll get it at some point. Yeah.
The gin beer.
Patreon.com/beerbusters.
As little as $1 a month. Seriously, it makes a difference.
It does.
It does. And you get all the fun extra goodies. And it's more than just last call. If you donate a certain level, you get your name read off in the show.
Yeah.
You can submit questions
And
for future guests.
every patron gets access to behind-the-scenes photos and exclusive invitations to events that only patrons get to attend.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
And
that's cool,
honestly, like it's what helps keep it rolling because it is not free
nobody,
to do a podcast.
Nobody buys T-shirts, guys. Let's
No,
tell
we're
you
done.
what.
We're done. Once
We're
these
done with
T-shirts are gone, I'm done. I didn't even bring them today. I'm like, fuck the T-shirt.
Nobody buys
Seriously.
T-shirts.
Fuck
What's up with
T-shirts.
that?
Well, nobody buys our
Fuck
T-shirts.
T-shirts.
Have you seen our T-shirt yet?
Fuck T-shirts.
Your T-shirts are cool.
Yeah.
Our T-shirts are cool. People don't want to buy T-shirts.
Man.
I'd see.
They're
like
over
me,
it. I already have 100 million
Tuesday
T-shirts.
for me.
Yeah, I already have a lot of T-shirts.
Yeah.
So,
All
like,
right.
I wouldn't buy a T-shirt.
Hit the button, Dan. I got to pee.
You
Yeah,
have
me
to
too.
pee. So
Me
that
too.
unfortunately brings us to the end of another episode of Beer Busters. And it was a lot of fun. I am so glad we
This
came
was
out to do
awesome.
this.
I love it
The
here.
rare
I had a
afternoon
great time.
recording.
I love when we record at a brewery that I come to often.
I like when I start out the day hungover and now I'm feeling good again. So
It's a
this is always a
circle
good
of
thing.
life.
I want to thank you guys for
thank
helping
you.
me get there.
Yes.
No, this was really cool. I like
I
this
think
place a
you
lot.
actually helped yourself get there.
True. Well, remember, come out to Root Down. I mean, it's amazing out here. If you get to Phoenixville, this is a must stop. I am Dan Baker, joined by my co-host and brewologist,
Steph Hefner.
and of course, the demented and fermented
Wayne Baker.
Remember, no squids were harmed in the making of this episode, and we'll see you next time.
Man, I could totally go for a pastry stout right now.
Not here.